Welcome, everybody, to Deep Dive Live on Set-Jetter Saturdays. I'm Matthew Clark. With me, as always, is Brian from Real to Real Locations. Check out his website at rtrlocations.blogspot.com. And Robert should be coming on camera, but Robert, of course, from setjetter.com. Yes.
It's Karen Strode tonight.
He's on Nurse Karen's schedule, though. Late again.
Amazing.
That is
quite an
out.
Bus crash, Brian.
What I love about her is she's wearing that during Halloween, and it's already like a perfect sweater. And I love that you own that. Where did you come across that?
I have like 5 or 6 of these.
Oh, perfect.
I might have a problem. I don't know.
No, I'm a big believer and defender of if you like a certain memorable piece of clothing from a film, like get a few, like because you can wear one out, and if it gets like spilled on, it's fine, and then you always have one.
I know. At the next Halloween convention, I feel like we should have the Karens.
Yeah, the Karens.
You know, sure. Just roaming around yelling at people. No, Mom.
The Karens.
Or just jump in front of me. Gotcha.
No, gotcha.
But this is the original wig from the video from H25 that I wore for the contest, I guess whatever it was, but
the rigged contest.
Is it? You've shown me that video before, but do you post it like once a year, Robert? Is it like a tradition?
Every once, I don't like to, but every once, people sometimes goad me into posting at least once during Halloween. So.
Of course they do. It's like fantastic.
But
it's so great, and the wig too is like it. I believe it.
Well, I really wanted Lori.
It's like a nice wig.
Yeah. Actually, I should get a Halloween Ends one now.
Yeah.
Since I'm getting older and and I have the glasses, So.
Well, it is spooky season, but you wouldn't know if you lived in LA because it's welcome to the jungle, baby. You're gonna die from heat exhaustion because it's 100 degrees again today in October.
And it's gonna be 96 on Saturday here. So
Oof.
This is
That's
not
unusual.
Yeah.
That's not good. But we're going to keep everybody in the spirit here of Halloween. We got a great show tonight. We're going to be talking about, Robert gave this great idea for discussing the entire Halloween franchise. Robert,
during October? How did you come up with that?
How does this
florals?
How does this work? Are we still going in order of the films themselves?
And I didn't want to do a ranking necessarily, but that's why.
We don't have to rank it.
But we'll do. That's why I was thinking: best scene or best moment that you liked, worst moment, worst scene. Some were easier than others.
Yeah, some were a little difficult.
Yeah,
tough.
And so
tough
near the end. Well, I guess that's anyway. and if you have a favorite line or lines, since
our favorite memories.
Yeah.
But before we begin, I just want to give a shout out to the top 5 countries listening to the show. That's USA, Germany, United Kingdom, South Africa, and Spain. I don't know why I'm reading these like it's Jeopardy. What are the top countries?
What are the top countries listening to the Podcastle?
Yes. Specifically the Set-Jetter Saturdays, which pretty much is the Podcastle at this point. And the top 5 states are California, Iowa, Nebraska. I don't know. I wonder who's responsible for that.
Yeah.
Pennsylvania and Hawaii. So thank you.
Aloha.
Oh, that's nice.
Iowa threw me off though because we very rarely do we have a lot of listeners from Iowa.
Probably because we talk about Children of the Corn all the time.
So. I was thinking it's probably something to do with Children of the Corn.
Talk about Children of the Corn locations.
But talk about more. But I wanted to share this with you guys. I bought this for best $12 I ever spent this week. The Friday the 13th. I know Robert has like every one of these, I'm sure.
Well,
because I know you have the box set. But this has special features like scary trailers, cutting room scenes that were left out. Some of the people that play the victims talks about behind the sets. But like $12, I was like, I saw it in the store. I'm like, done. I would have paid probably like 40 or something for this. It was pretty cool.
Jason Takes Manhattan's $12 alone.
It's
worth it right there.
But it's an investment because 9 times out of 10, when I have the itch to watch one, it's like the 2009 is the only one that's ever available. And you're like,
I enjoy that more than some of the sequels, so I'm there with you. I don't think it's the worst.
What 2009?
No, I kind of enjoyed it.
Okay. You're going to go with 2009 before Manhattan.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I see that. And I did watch Freddy vs. Jason last night after Nightmare on Elm Street. And Robert's right. It's bad. It's really, really bad. The first 40 minutes, you're like, it's not that bad. And then the moment when, what's her name? All the Stars, Monica Keena.
Yeah.
Go, well, Jason's afraid of water and Freddy's afraid of fire. How can we use that? We're not afraid.
Neither one are like, it's like,
that was the moment. And I was all I kept thinking about was Robert's voice echoing, just being like, I'll never watch it. It's so bad.
Everybody was high in that van, and that's why she's like, hey, everybody.
It's so bad, though, but you're right. And I'm like, but he's not afraid. And then he sees the water, and he's like making the faces, and I'm like, he spent most of the movies underwater. Like, I don't
swam to New York.
Right. Anyway, I wanted to share that. Keep you posted on what those crazy special features are. But
Marta Cobra's on there.
I don't know. Oh, but happy Halloween. So let's jump into this Halloween franchise game here.
All right. And should we do it all at once, or should we just like so my favorite moment, or my scene, I guess there's so many obviously in the original. But probably maybe the hedge scene when I was a kid, that just kind of creeped me out, approaching and so forth.
Is that the one where you can see John Carpenter's cigar smoke?
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, more or less before that, but as they're walking up and it kind of disappears, and just kind of creepy guy guy stuff, you know.
Oh yeah, good call.
Good. Yeah.
What was your favorite?
I like that one.
Mine is part of the chase scene, particularly when she's running back across to the Strode house and keeps cutting back and forth, and Michael's slowly getting there. The keys. Yeah. And I was watching it last night. I'm like, the owners allowed them to throw a potted plant against the house.
It was the 70s.
It was there. It is. It was the 70s. It was the 70s.
It'd be like Breaking Bad, or like people keep throwing potted plants at the second floor. Like, stop throwing the plant.
It's the 70s.
Everybody was doing it.
And you can't tell if it's a little piece of dirt or if it's a dent in the paneling afterwards, because there's a little speck that stays up there.
So
but I was like,
oh yeah,
right
I was like, I don't know if I would have signed off on that.
Well,
no, yeah, as a homeowner, you'd be like, nah,
yeah,
let's not,
right?
Let's not, yeah, because what if they had to do it again, like multiple takes?
Yeah.
And my favorite, it's more of a shot than a scene, but I guess you can call it a scene, is when Laurie's babysitting the kids, and the camera, they show the shape. They show Michael Myers across the street, you know, at the porch, and then he's gone in the next shot. But I always thought, like when I first saw that was just such a haunting, cool, like simple, but still scary, like shot. Like he's there. There's nothing scarier than looking out your window and like seeing that. And it creeped me out when I was a kid. And yeah, I think that's probably my favorite one.
And I realized as I went to my worst moment scene and favorite line, they're all in the same scene. And not by chance. That's not how I meant to do it. But because to try to find the worst moment, the first one is really hard because I'm like, there really isn't too many whatever. So, but it does, as I got older, it bugs me. The same scene, just kind of the continuity error when she turns around, and then obviously it's a different day. The bush hasn't been trimmed because for a while it was about 5 o'clock at dusk, and then it's like high noon in South Pasadena, and it's the week before because it's like, wait a second.
Wait a tick.
But otherwise, I don't have too much to knock this film. So
yeah, it's a tough one to knock, which is the legacy of it.
Yeah, I had Laurie drops the knife for the second time.
Oh yeah,
it's like, come on now, like at least hold. You know, we would accept more that you're holding it as you're stumbling into the hallway, and when he grabs you, it falls out of your hand again. But to just get rid of it again.
Teenagers.
I had for Annie the undressing scene because it was 70s panties, and I didn't like. I was a kid, and I was like, it was like watching my mom or something. I was like, I don't like this, and I felt it was like unnecessary.
And You know, they had to cut out the panties shot from the TV cut in
Did
81.
they?
Yeah, that was too much in 1981 to show on TV.
Oh yeah, I bet it was.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
I know. That's a tough. To me, Halloween. It's a tough movie to. I was thinking about which scene I like the least. It was tough to really decide because it's not a deal breaker, that scene. But I'm like, yeah, it's kind of weird pacing. But
what do you want? In a thong?
Fine.
1978? Like what? Like
the granny panties?
Yeah. Lindsay, I need help.
You know what it is? It's that she's like babysitting kids, and all of a sudden she's like on the phone naked, neglecting them, and I'm like, "What are you doing?"
It was the 70s.
It was the 70s,
kids.
right?
We were lucky there was even an adult there.
That's true. Robert.
Why is your dry cleaning in the kitchen?
Yeah. Weird placement of very strange.
I don't think we had mud rooms back then. Where are we supposed to put stuff? So my favorite line also happens to be it's not my favorite line, but the one that I think I use still is like, I think you're wacko. Now you're seeing men behind bushes. So, I say many Halloween lines, but I don't.
That was going to be mine, but that's a good one.
You guys think I'm too smart.
The delivery's perfect.
I had one from Annie as well, being a snarky, sarcastic individual. A little earlier from the walk home when, she's like, why didn't you wait for me? And Linda said, we did, you never showed. And then she says, that's not true. Here I am. So that's from the theatrical. From the television version, it's nurse number 1. Dr. Wynn is waiting to see you, doctor.
It's the best line. It's the best.
Dr. Wynn. That's a good one.
Dr. Wynn is going to see you. Oh, it's just classic.
Halloween.
That's what I grew up on.
That's it's great stuff to grow up on.
Spoken by the one. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say spoken by the wonderful Gwen Van Dam, most known as Jan's English teacher who can't add, but she wasn't her math teacher. So I was glad we got to meet her at the last Halloween convention.
Did you really?
Oh yeah, she.
I made a beeline to her right when I got in there.
Yeah, like there was gonna be a big line for her, and like
you were pushing people out of the way, paying off people to get up front,
and didn't even know what movie she was in. She just showed up to work that 1981 day. Like, you want me to say the doctor twice? I'm like, yes. That's what's in the script. And I wrote it drunk, said John.
Sorry, Matthew. Go ahead.
No. Halloween 1978. My favorite quote is, "Mr. Riddle's 87. He can still watch. It's probably all he can do." Different connotations, and I always thought Riddler's 87 would have been a cool bar name. Like Riddle 80. Like, what are you guys doing tonight? We're going to Riddle 87. Oh yeah, that's a great spot. Let's go. Bottomless mimosas.
It's probably in Halloween Kills somewhere.
It's poetry.
Interesting. We all had Annie quotes.
So many great quotes there.
She had, like we said, she was the sassiest. She had the good stuff, and PJ Souls just had totally.
Yeah. So how old were you both when you first saw Halloween?
I was 11. So when I got in 1981, they showed it on the TV. I saw the TV version. So the NBC.
I was in middle school. I'm sorry, Robert. I didn't mean to cut you off.
The end.
I saw Halloween 2 before the original Halloween. I saw Halloween like that same year later on around Halloween. I was in junior high. So I was like 13, 14, sometime around there.
Okay. Nice.
We were watching a bunch of, I was hanging out with the band kids, and everyone was really into it. And one guy was like, because I asked like, oh, how can he drive a car if like he was in there? And he's like, because the director said cut, and that's what happened. I was like, no. I know it's a movie. Okay, well, I guess we're not debating like film. It was like one of those crowds. I enjoyed it. It was great. It was eye opening.
Nice.
All right, Brian starts us off with Halloween 2.
Halloween 2.
My favorite moment is the town square sequence where we meet Nurse Karen and Michael bumps into Boombox Boy. Kind of like
kids around.
The bunny hop extra. I thought it was, I love Halloween 2. I love seeing how the town is, hearing about things and becoming unraveled. And I like that whole scene. For the theatrical, for the TV version is Janet's nervous breakdown to Nurse Karen about how Laurie Strode, you didn't hear her talking, how Michael's still out there and he's coming to get her.
I don't know why they cut that out.
I know. I love it. That's why I watch the TV version so often for that scene. So
yeah, Janet was high strung, especially remember she gave out Mr. Garrett just like that.
Yeah,
Garrett, forget it. It's like
and then
nobody looked for him again.
A Thorazine needle and just take a break, Karen.
You're saying she deserved it,
Janet.
You know what? She's probably they cut it out. Like she's probably talking, God, and like Michael's like, Jesus Christ. Dr. Mixter.
Why are you looking at the wall, Dr. Mixter?
Shut up. Oh.
Okay, Robert.
Matthew, what's your favorite Halloween 2 scene?
So it was a toss up. I have to preference. I've said this a million times on our show, but it's my favorite Halloween movie there is. It was the first one I saw, and it hit all the feels. I still watch it every year, and I recently got both versions. So I did, as you know, watch the televised for the first time. Actually, the first time I seen it was probably the televised, but which is great. So it was really tough for me to decide my favorite. My favorite scene is the boombox boy one, because of how the tracking shot, and then you have the police car in the back, and it just you feel like you're there. But my favorite shot is when she gets out of the car and you see his reflection in the rear view or the side view mirror. I just thought that was such a cool shot back in the day. Like it still holds up. It's just like haunting. Like he's just there. So yeah, favorite scene, Boombox Boy. I mean, that's just such a cool sequence.
Haddonfield citizens have no peripheral vision. It's just like
it was the 80s.
It was still 78. It's still 1978.
It was right. It was 78. It was the 70s. Glasses weren't around yet.
And mine is also in the parking lot, but near the end, where the final scene where after Laurie can't get it out, and then she finally starts hobbling along, and then Michael comes around, and then she's banging on the door, and I think I remember that because before I saw the movie, that was the clip they showed on Siskel and Ebert, and I was like, oh, this has got to be the most terrifying movie, and they cut the clip off right, as he was getting close to her, and I'm like, she's not going to get out of there.
She's going to get out of there.
That's it. She's done for this person, whoever that is. So it scared me. So
yeah, that's a great choice.
Brian,
worst moment. Alice condones domestic violence. She just turns on her heels and waltzes back inside, and Mrs. Elrod could be getting pummeled, and she just says it like all day.
I started beating her, and we saw Mr. Elrod. I'm kind of like, really? I don't.
Yeah,
right.
Maybe.
Really, that's the guy.
Yeah.
I mean, Haddonfield has some really shitty neighbors. Like they're turning lights off. They're windbags about trick or treated to death.
They are. Yeah.
And
it's a hard.
I mean, I guess if you had neighbors like that, you just kind of go back in the house. But I thought there could have been a little more assistance from her.
There could have been a better way to do it.
Now that you got me thinking, because he's asleep, but I'm thinking she put something in his sandwich.
Yeah.
Kind of flowers in the attic.
Ground glass or something. Yeah.
Good call.
Yeah.
So he's been dead the whole time, and she's like, "I'm gonna blame this one." He's like, "I'm blaming this one on Michael."
The grandpa from Texas Chainsaw.
Like, oh my gosh! I can't believe it. And then was that Alice next door? She's like that bee. She didn't care. She left me screaming for days on end.
Who, Alice?
Yeah, that's her name, I think. Yes.
Yeah.
All right,
Matthew.
The worst scene for me, and this is where Robert can say it was the 70s, was the paramedic who's supposed to be a professional saving lives, and the nurse who's supposed to be watching the babies were smoking pot and skinny dipping in a boiler room for burn victims. Like, really? That we can't do better? I always thought that was weird. Like, aren't they supposed to be professionals? But it was the 70s.
70s. That's what
the night shift.
You know,
I don't mind the actual scene of the two in the tub, and they're good looking, they're young, like whatever. But like, shouldn't he be on call? Shouldn't she be watching those kids? I don't know. It seemed irresponsible to me.
Nurse Alves had to hold everything down. That entire hospital.
Right, it was just her.
Yeah,
just running the whole ship.
She's like, "Come on, kids."
Come on, kid. She doesn't put up much of a fight either. She's like, "I can't." All right, let's go.
Well, that's how
it was the 70s.
Way before me too. This one was a little bit difficult, but then I probably and this is like not at the time, but as I grew older, like when Ben Tramer gets killed, it's like, what are you doing? Like between the cops and Dr. Loomis, bring us like, it's like, well, we can tell he's not him. He has and then Haddonfield, like they have strategic driving.
Mario Andretti just flying by. Like I know he had to get back into town, but
how big
Mario
is
Andretti?
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, that poor kid, and we're still talking about him.
Poor kid.
Rest in peace.
Rest in peace. Halloween 3, Season of the Witch.
Favorite lines.
Favorite lines.
Oh, favorite lines. Let's go back. Halloween 2, 1978. 1981.
It takes place in 78. So.
Favorite line in Halloween 2 was, as referenced in the beginning of this program, when was the last time you had a tetanus shot? Because she's freaking out. She almost killed someone. She almost got killed. She's seen people get killed. It's crazy. They're trying to calm her down. They're trying to ascertain if she has any lacerations. What's going on? All the doctor can muster up is, when was the last time you had a tetanus shot?
It's Dr. Mixter.
Valid question, right? I don't know, but I love it. It's hilarious. So that's my favorite line in the film.
What about you, Brian?
My favorite from the No Nonsense, Mrs. Alves. No, you won't. Visiting hours definitely over. And from the TV version, Bud's Julie's full of sugar.
Oh yes. I was going to add. I think it's in the TV version, isn't it? Like, now let's get her clothes off. And
yes, that scene is so great.
Wait, what? It wasn't in the theatrical, but they after your tetanus, or whatever, and like, all right, let's get her clothes. Like, wait, is this what happens at Haddonfield?
That was so weird.
At Haddonfield Weinstein Hospital. I don't know what's going on here.
Oh my gosh.
This one I have a lot. I mean, but I think it's not necessarily a favorite, but I use it like can't you ask Eddie Lee? Anytime anybody asks me a favorite, or somebody's like, he's in Russellville, and people are like, I don't know what you're talking about.
Can I borrow your computer? Can't you ask Eddie Lee?
And people are like, what? And I'm like, he's in Russellville. I'm like, I had no follow-up question. I don't know. We would get it.
Where was he in Russellville?
Yeah.
Okay.
Which, do you see that on the bus map in Halloween 6?
I think you might. They did a pretty good job of
I think
the map of Illinois to include all these John Carpenter towns. So Halloween 3, Matthew, what's your favorite scene?
Yes, Halloween 3 is any scene, any time that the theme song is mentioned, because I will have it stuck in my head for days. I'm not familiar with it. It's Silver Shamrock. 3 more days till Halloween. And it's so catchy and funny and campy, and I like it. It's fun. Makes me want to go visit a weird Celtic factory up Northern California.
It's almost, I think it's partially still there. I don't know. So
yeah, isn't there like people were taking bricks and stuff from there?
Yeah. Well, it got very heavily damaged during that earthquake last year, a couple years ago. So so if you want an asbestos brick, go on.
Yeah, no, my lungs are bleeding.
It's just like the movie.
It's just a bug comes out of my face.
My lungs are snakes are coming out. F in Northern California. Mine. This was also kind of, but I thought it disturbed me is the Marge Gutman scene because she was kind of an innocent, semi-innocent, and then just kind of, and then later with her face gone and stuff like that. So I thought that was good. So it was creepy and scary.
Yes.
But yeah. So what about you, Brian?
I had Little Buddy's death. I thought that was pretty creepy.
Yeah, I guess
little kid and
we weren't killing kids.
Yeah. So that was mine.
I think the Halloween 3 for me was always the scariest because of that, because it's like kids and things like that. And as they say, It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, like nothing scares a bunch of black folk like all this Irish shit hanging up. And there's a reason that a lot of that Celtic stuff, it's like paganry, and they do a good job with that.
I was very late to Halloween 3. I didn't see it for the first time until 2012.
Oh, really?
But I love it. It's a great film. I never saw it because I knew Michael Myers wasn't in it. But
you went to the Halloween convention?
The Trick's on Me. What's that?
You went to the Halloween convention without seeing Halloween 3?
No, I'm sorry. I saw it in 2011 because in 2012 the Scream Factory DVDs come out, and that's when I started.
Well, I'm just saying, in the first, wasn't it 2003?
Oh, the first two?
2003 was the first Halloween.
Oh, yeah. I didn't pay any attention to them.
We should have checked that at the door.
I just didn't pay any attention to that.
Noted.
Okay.
It's noted.
No.
Oh, you were at Daisy McCracken's table getting a Halloween Resurrection thing signed?
I probably was,
yes. My Halloween 3, my least favorite scene is when the insect comes out of her face. I don't know. It's disturbing.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's just they do a good job with it, and it does its job. It's scary. It's just, it's really,
I
really.
put that
creepy.
as a good scene. I mean, put that as a good thing, but I don't know.
I think it's just me. It's just seeing bugs coming out of people's orifices. It's kind of gross.
My worst was, and they admit to this, where he throws that mask up on the camera.
Oh yeah,
it's just a little flick, And I know Tom Atkins has talked about like he got it right the first time, and it's obviously a reverse. But but it's like, oh, come on. Out of everything, robots, whatever. I'm like, yeah, and then I was like, that's unrealistic. This is where I draw the line.
This is where the line in the sand is drawn.
Yeah.
No, you lost a fan.
Here, but
speaking of unrealistic, mine is Stonehenge.
Oh, there we go.
Good call.
Transferring it all the way over. No one's noticing.
Well,
it's not in Ireland.
Maybe they made a big float to hide it as they were like,
Yeah, Stonehenge. That is, that's a big one.
Did they need to bring the whole thing?
I know, like, just like.
Maybe he was like, maybe it was like the Elon Musk of he's like, I may have overspent. Because when you see it, like, we only took out less than a cubic meter, but so far to kill everybody. So maybe we shouldn't have spent all that money to bring the whole thing over.
Is it me for best quote of Halloween 3?
Yes.
I think so, yeah.
I do love a good joke, and this is the best ever. Joke on the children.
Mine is, I guess, an Annie quote. Drinking and doctoring, great combination.
Damn it, that's mine too.
That's a tough one. I was going to put that as well.
Nancy Loomis is back for the snark.
Yeah, she was 17, and then a year later, a 35-year-old mom.
It was the 80s.
I think she was pregnant during filming of this. I remember her saying like she didn't have a great experience because she felt very sick or something from being pregnant. But added to the anger, I guess.
Sorry for your one scene of. I guess she had voice.
She had voiceovers.
Yeah. God damn it. Maybe on Halloween 4. Okay, best scene. Well, I know and you had sent that clip this morning, the first time you heard the Halloween theme. So I thought about that, but the scariest one for me was it's Michael and kind of rocking in the chair with the rifle, and we know it's him and so forth. But he kind of gets up, so it just reminded me of like nightmares I used to have. So I was like, oh, they did that right, yeah. So
good call.
Nice.
What about you, Brian?
Mine was the rooftop chase scene. That was very well done, very creepy, and he comes pretty darn close to getting that knife in her face. It's like, ooh, if I was Ellie Cornell, I would have been like, where's the safety coordinator?
She needed the job. Yeah. But the scene was good because it kind of elevated it above the first Halloween. They kind of upped the ante, which was good.
So that was it for me.
And it looked like they were actually on a roof. I mean,
yeah, it did. It did. I know they rebuilt that.
Yeah.
But
Halloween is not known for creating stakes. and stuff like, especially early on,
it works.
Yeah,
they make it work. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Cristiano. I will watch one each year, and I still get confused. You're in good company here with myself. Halloween 4. I've said this before, but when he leaves, he's transferred from Smith's Grove, and they have the music, and it's the rain, and
let's move him.
Yeah, let's move them. And the editor, they kicked in the music at just the right time, and the shots at just the right moment of the crescendo, and it gives me goosebumps every time. That's hands down one of my favorite scenes in the whole franchise. It's so cool.
That was my first Halloween in the theater.
It's amazing.
And so to hear that kick, and I was so excited. I was just like,
how could you not?
At one point, we never thought there would ever be a Halloween again, or Michael Myers Halloween.
Yeah.
Oh, right, because it was supposed to be like an anthology, right?
Yeah, and it literally is only 7 years after, or 6 years after Halloween 3. So it really wasn't that long. But when you're young, that's forever. So.
And you've had so many Jasons and Freddys in between. You're hungry for Michael.
Yeah. So Halloween 4. Yeah, like I said, this is not the only thing I didn't like is somehow Michael's underneath the truck hiding. And then they're going along for several miles, and they're like, "Now's the time." What was he holding on to? I don't know.
Now's the time.
Yeah, now's the time. I'm gonna come. Yeah.
And what was he doing under the truck for that extended period of time?
So because they were heading out of town, and then they have great soundproofing because he kills all the people in the back of the truck, and they were like.
They could have ended that scene with the cop when he's flashing his flash to be like, "Hey."
You might want to look at her. And they're like, and they would just yell,
hey.
Shut up. They would Ted Hollister him.
I had Loomis hitches a ride with Reverend Sayer. I never cared for that scene. I just thought it was kind of boring.
Good call. It doesn't tickle your fancy.
No. Robert, do you have you look like you were gonna.
No, I was reading the episode.
No.
Oh, I was trying to read these comments and stuff.
The green stuff and the needles were.
Is that Halloween 6?
6.
Yeah, we'll get to
it. Was high C ectoplasm drink.
So good.
Praise
God.
Yeah. So Matthew, your worst Halloween 4 scene?
It's a tough one, but I would say the sequence of I forget his name, the guard at Smith's Grove. That's like, he's like overly funny at first.
You never get used to the
freak
faces.
Show and this and that, and then he's like, "I'll be glad." As he changes to like he's scared, but then he's like lackadaisical, and
yes, indeedy.
It's almost like they put him in there obviously for comic relief, but he only went halfway, and his scenes. I feel like that guy's scenes were probably cut. He probably had more. Yeah, I felt it would kind of mess up the pacing a little bit. Didn't need to be like injuncted right there. So he's probably my least favorite bit of it.
One of the documentaries, Dwight Little says that scene was originally went on for a bit. And so if you thought that was long, it was initially even longer.
Maybe it was cut for acting because sometimes they're like,
that too.
We've seen deleted scenes. I'm like, they're not as good as actress as I thought they were. I won't say who, but I was like, thank God they cut that.
Thank God they cut that.
So this one in the theater, I remember kind of the big hot scene was like, "Don't you mean what you do best?" Was a crowd pleaser. So in the kitchen I need to do what's best for me,
Yes.
But as we know, the one I use most is. And we give it to our cat Murphy to say, he's like, "Leave us alone."
Leave us alone.
And Michael's like, "All right." And he walks out of the house. And
you mean you want me to leave you alone? Okay.
Because that's going to do it.
Leave us alone.
That's going to make him stop.
Yeah. He's like, "All right."
I always think about your sister's cat Murphy now when I watch that. Because you said that a few years back. And I'm like, yeah, it's perfect.
He does
now, like when a delivery guy comes, leave us alone.
He does. He's like, "No."
I was gonna go with don't you mean what you do best, but I shifted it to Wade. Timing's got to be primo.
Oh, Wade, they could have brought him back.
Wade needs to be at H50 because I gotta get his autograph.
I'm trying.
Yeah, he could have been in Halloween 5. He could have been the what was his name in Halloween 5?
I
Oh yeah, he could have been. Yeah,
he could have been him.
Yeah, they could have brought those characters back.
Yeah, for sure.
They could have. Yeah, could have added to the canon.
Yeah.
My favorite quote is, "I got the sheriff saying, I got a town full of beer bellies running around there with shotguns," and because it literally is a bunch of guys in pickup trucks like around. They're shooting off the gazebo. It's like it's just madness.
A little kind of Halloween military thing going on. There he is. I'm like,
is Halloween 4? How does that rank on your guys' list?
It used to rank a little higher. It's kind of gone down over the years.
Really?
Yeah.
Mine, it's 3. Number 3.
Me too.
Yeah.
Okay. Halloween 5, The Revenge of Michael Myers.
Ooh. This was hard. Well,
one.
The best moment is not hard. For that is Tina's death.
Oh. That's my Tina dying.
Now, I know Ellie Cornell mentioned her original death scene was supposed to be scissors down the throat, and I thought that would have been perfect for Tina instead of the knife to the heart.
Kind of like Janet, like shut up.
Yeah, shut up.
Then Michael never speaks during the entire series except for Tina's like, shut up. Perfect. Like,
leave us alone. Is it? It's me. I'm sorry.
It's you. Yeah. Favorite.
I'm not a smart man. The list threw me off a little bit. So favorite scene. It's my least favorite. It's my second to least favorite Halloween in the originals. But I'd have to say, I guess when Loomis and Meeker set up shop at the, Michael Myers' house, I've always kind of liked that kind of urban exploration, abandonment. Right. It's
you mean the
like it was kind of I thought it was kind of a cool setting to do that rather than something different like that they kind of been doing. So yeah, I always thought that was cool to go back there, kind of take it back to the roots.
I think the Munsters subletted that for a while.
Yes.
What's that?
I think the Munsters subletted that house.
The Munsters. Yeah.
Oh.
How about you?
I just put the credits. Like,
good.
Yeah, the opening, it was kind of it's like, okay, this is different, and you could hear another Halloween doing this. You could hear the ending happening, the sounds and stuff, and the music amping up before we actually saw the scene. I thought, okay, this is going to be good, everybody. I really liked Halloween 4. I remember I was in college. I'm like, yeah, this is going to be fantastic.
This is going to be good, everybody.
Yeah.
Hey, that's what you expected, though. I mean, look at Jaws: The Revenge.
Yeah.
I mean, that over.
A movie comes out a year later. What could go wrong?
Yeah. Money well spent.
Money well spent.
Worst scene.
Worst moment. The Keystone Cops with music cue.
Good
and
call.
I'm just going to go ahead and double down. That was mine as well. What we did.
I put the ending.
Music comes back. Too,
yes,
in later scenes, it's like
once was not enough.
Yeah.
Does it? Oh yeah, they do. Like, they resurface it.
It was weird, but yeah.
The ending, I wasn't a big fan of the ending. It was predictable, and I wanted more. You're kind of like, that was it. That's what you're getting. Have some kind of resolution there. More, like the outcome should, the greater the risk, the bigger the return. They set themselves up for forms of redemption, and you're like, they just blew 1, 2, and 3. So I don't know. It was
Michael's like sitting in jail with his mask on. Isn't he kind of like he's practicing some mindfulness or something? But I was just like, wait, what? How did this all happen? He's, he's like indestructible, but he's like, well, somehow they got him in jail and sitting down, and he's at some point going to be eating beans. I don't know, it's like, what's happening here? So.
Yeah. Okay, Halloween.
Favorite lines.
Favorite lines.
Mine was Loomis. I prayed that he would burn in hell, but in my heart, I knew that hell would not have him. I couldn't think of anything else.
That's a good one, yeah. Matthew?
Again, it was just kind of putting words on a paper, but I'm going to get this wrong. But it was Meeker was saying they're going to take him to jail or facility, and he'll die. They'll put him to death, and Jamie he will never die. I thought it was okay.
Yeah.
I mean, not giving it justice, folks.
As
but
good
that's
as you can get.
The line. Yeah.
Or you can just have Jamie Lloyd.
I went down a rabbit hole of Danielle Harris and her history with the Halloween, and you were right, Robert, how she wanted to be in the. There was a whole thing, it was like a bad lobbying for it.
It was a little desperate, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, a little. It was. Hope she's not watching.
So I have two lines.
Two?
More than
from Halloween 5. Okay.
I know. Well,
from Halloween 5.
One is like, but I know the Tower Farm. So Billy says that line.
Billy.
And actually, the other is a Tina line. If you can believe it.
Really?
And I actually do use this line sometimes.
Oh shit.
I'm never sensible if I could help.
I knew it was going to be that one. I knew it was going to be that one.
You love Tina.
Well,
Halloween 5 is it's like sex in jail. You'll take what you can get, but I don't know.
You don't.
There's some gems in there. I think. I mean, it's canon. Right?
I always go back to the tagline, like this time that Brett is like, no, they weren't. They all took off. It was like that was the last 8 minutes of the movie. I was like, they made it look like SWAT was coming out from.
Yeah.
It's like, no.
They did make it look like SWAT's coming out.
Yeah.
Halloween 6, The Curse of Michael Myers. I just watched this the other night, so it's fresh in my mind. Oof. And a lot of people, I think that gets an unfair rap. Halloween 6, I do. I can see the criticisms, but yeah,
I agree. So, what was your favorite scene?
So there's a few things I really liked, but what I really enjoyed is the dad who he's such an ass. What's his name? Strode. What's his first name?
John.
He's such an asshole, but then he's in the basement, and you know what's going to happen. You know Michael Myers is going to get him, but the lighting's perfect, and basement's already scary, and it's an abandoned house, and he's just going about his way. And then he sees the washer machine, and I think the whole sequence was creepy enough that it took him away. It took out the other characters, and it was just paying off what you wanted. So that was probably mine.
And that was the reshoot.
That was a reshoot?
Yeah, because I think he just got strangled or stabbed.
Yeah, he had something.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the head explosion was not original.
Yeah.
Interesting.
My scene is the scene where Kara is at Tommy Doyle's and watching.
There's someone in the room.
Yeah, there's somebody in the room. She's on the phone with him, and so she's kind of watching all this, and then I like that they double down that she turns around and Danny's gone, and then she sees them walking towards the house. So I thought that was kind of a good sense of dread, and of course, Halloween you always have to be running from one house across the street to the other. So. That's good.
Yes.
And
that's a good call.
She was not actually related to the Strodes, but she looked like a Strode. But
she did look like a Strode.
She did.
Yeah, it worked.
What about you, Brian?
So this was the first Halloween I saw in theaters. So it holds a little place in my heart. I don't care for either version, producer's cut or theatrical cut. If anything, I'll watch the theatrical cut more. I don't know. People say producer's cut is so much better, but I don't agree. But my best moment is Deborah Strode's death. I thought it was kind of cool in the backyard with the sheets. It's kind of the death scene I didn't get in Friday the 13th Part 3 that I thought was going to maybe happen, but that was good for me.
And laundry at the end of October.
Yeah.
Is a Haddonfield thing.
It'll be dry.
It's a Haddonfield thing.
It was well before climate change.
It's not like it was damp because it just rained last night. Perfect day to hang clothes outside.
Yeah. The washer was broken, but not the dryer. I'm like, if she
Good point.
Understood what was going on. But,
oh my gosh.
I'm just saying, Deborah. And she was good in it. I mean, because she was. She's kind of an off-kilter.
Yeah.
Personality anyway. Deborah, what are they teaching you? Are you going crazy?
Oh, we skipped ahead to my favorite line.
Was it? I'm sorry. I didn't even realize that was going to be.
Yeah, I think we're out of order.
Okay. So I will stop. I didn't realize that was going to be a favorite quote.
Oh.
But anyway, so I guess we're going to worst moment or scene from Matthew.
Okay, so you guys, I'm going to be the least popular guy in this. The worst scene for me was the mother getting killed outside. Because they're showing her like the close-ups and she's making these facial, and then they show a close-up of the Nikes, like the shoes, and she's tying them, and then she like slips and she's looking up and she like doesn't know where to go. And I'm thinking, like, you're outside, like just run, jump over the fence, like get away.
You wait.
And then she like doubles back down. And I don't know, I just thought the acting was so bad. She's like, come on.
What if it was your mom?
My mom would have, well, yeah, it'd be different. But I don't know. It was like funny.
She does make some
horrible
person.
That's what it was. It was the cinematography. It was her like.
That's why I kind of like the off kilter. It's like she's like.
At the John Strode is hilarious though. When he comes home, he's like, "She finally left me down to the basement to check the old switches." Like it's no big deal that his family just disappeared. Good for him.
Yeah, he was. Cristiano says the quaint 90s abusive father. Yes,
indeed.
He was even worse than the producers got. I remember. So he was actually So.
Oh really?
Let's see. What do we have? Is it my worst moment scene?
Yes.
This was a little hard for me because I do like it, but I remember this. Maybe this doesn't count as worst moment, but they should have paid Danielle Harris whatever she wanted to at least come back, because that death would have meant more.
Yeah.
If it was, now that comes out wrong, but you know what I mean. If it was, when we see Alice from part 1 of Friday the 13th come back and get, that's a good continuity to have. So, and then otherwise, I'm like, maybe they should have just, I don't know. Anyway,
I'm on board with that.
That's my kind of worst moment. So, and I kind of like the MTV kind of cutting of the theatrical versus the producer's cut. So it's of its time, but it kind of worked, Even just like the opening, it was a strange opening for Halloween. It was like, oh, Michael, please don't hurt me. And they're flashing. It was like, and I remember it's like, what is that? This isn't the Halloween 5 opening that we had.
Good call.
But it was good. Well, I liked it also because you didn't know what was happening. Like it was like we're in a hospital, but not. It was like, so it set you off.
Yes.
So,
I did like that.
Yeah. Brian, what's your worst?
Tommy's thorn tutorial.
Oh.
I just remember sitting there thinking, where have we gone? How low have we sunk?
Yeah, and just wait.
Yeah, sorry, that was stupid. I hope Daniel Ferrens isn't watching.
Well, here's the thing, and Daniel, obviously, he was a fan, and he
did his homework. I appreciate like bringing Dr. Wynn and tying it back a little bit.
Win.
So I give him a little prop for that, but let's stay in the realm of,
Yeah. So when Danny pulled a knife on his grandfather, I guess it would be grandfather. Yeah, it was surprising because I like how they actually shot that scene pretty well because we weren't quite sure who it was and so forth. But yeah, so obviously it was where they're trying to do ordinary people in Haddonfield, like that level of family trauma kind of going on. But, oh gosh! All right, what do we have?
Favorite line.
Favorite line. Start with Matthew.
Is it back to me? My favorite line. It's not even. It's from Dr. Loomis, and it's not even his best line. But it was just like it strikes me as so odd when she's like, "Michael Myers is back," and all this yada yada. All I can muster up is, "It's not nice to play Halloween pranks." Like, I don't know if it was a prank. I think she's pretty serious. she's like the next line out of her should be. I apologize, forget her name, but should be like, right? It is a prank. It's a big prank. I'm just making this up. But I thought that was kind of funny.
I have others popping in. Yeah, because
they're all coming through.
There's once I'm like, it's raining red, which reminds me at the Halloween 25th anniversary. So that last night, I remember we were going to the bar or something. I remember there was a bar where the celebrities were going, and it was raining, but there was fires, and so I remember a friend of mine was wearing white, and the rain was all grain because there was ashes in the rain.
Oh shit!
And I think I remember like it's raining. It's raining black. Yeah.
It's raining. What was the DJ's name that was in the tree?
Oh, Barry Sims.
Barry Sims, yeah.
Because I read it in the IMDb. They asked Howard Stern to do that, and I'm thinking, yeah, no wonder. Like, I'm sure they didn't pay him anything.
It'd been the right time to, you know.
Oh yeah, no, it would have been would have been a great fit.
It would have been a good catch.
Yeah. It would have really changed the dynamic of it.
The one I use on most often base is "Hold on a second, Danny." It's a random line when she decides to call across that. You know, I think Danny's bugging her, like, Mom, whatever. You know. And so I still like if my cat wants to do something like "Hold on a second."
Hold on a second.
And then every once in a while I'm like, "Can you tell me if a bus came in last night from Pontiac?" Or if a bus came in from Pontiac last night. Yeah. Because Paul Rudd just has a strange performance. And
he does.
And his line delivery is odd, and the smile.
I was only 8 years old when I saw him.
The smile, and then there's some parts where you tell he was improvising, and he was like deciding to keep going or stop. Like at the end, the last scene he's in, he like walks and he stops, and it looks like he's going to do something else, and he's kind of like wraps it up. Yeah, it was a weird dynamic
when he's banging on Kara's door. Improvised.
Yeah. I remember in the audit we just stopped and laughed. We kind of laughed because we're scared, and they're like, what's going on? So
what's going on?
Slash is playing his guitar.
Yeah. Was it introducing Paul Thomas or something? I can't remember. I think he had a middle name or something.
Paul Stephen Rudd.
Paul Stephen Rudd. Yep. So
yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So this was his
first
film, but I think Clueless
came out before it.
Yeah. Even though they shot it.
They filmed this one before, right?
Before, yeah. So,
yeah.
Good one. But yeah, I remember like Tommy grew up hot. Well, this Tommy.
You guys could do Circus Liquor if you do Clueless. I don't think anyone's ever done that location.
Nobody's gone to Circus Liquor for anything. Oh.
All right, what are we on?
Is everybody's favorite line?
So mine was Deborah Strode's. What are they teaching in college these days? The heart is going crazy.
That should have been mine. That's a good one. That's a good one. That's it.
It is good.
I forgot about that. That's a good one.
What are we on to? Halloween H2O.
H2O.
Oh, so many.
Oh,
scenes. So many scenes. One that I thought they did well, or just was really Halloween, was the keys of where they drop they get to the kind of vestibule, and then they drop the keys, and they're trying to get the keys, and he's coming, and then so and the music kept amping it up, and I was like, it ramped up the tension. Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, you were nervous at the time, even though what's kind of going to happen and so forth. But so that was the scene, and then obviously second is just her scream, Michael, with the long shadow at the end. But what about you?
Good call,
Ryan?
That was the ending of that scene was for me when Michael and Lori are looking at each other through the
face-to-face.
Yes. Thought that was the second would have been the axe.
It is a good scene.
It's
shot well, and I remember they used that image on the back of the Laserdisc. I was like,
"Oh, nice!"
It's just perfect. Yeah. So.
Did they advertise a commentary that wasn't there like they did on the DVD?
No, not on Laserdisc. That's why.
Really?
That's why, because I had the Laserdisc and I had not bought a DVD. I had not upgraded to DVDs yet, but they announced that on the DVD there would be the commentary, and so
they were charging $40 for it. It was like the most expensive DVD you can imagine ever, and it never went on sale. I'm like, oh, I'll wait till it gets to like 25.
Bare bones. Yeah.
And
was it really? It was always. Like it was like a Nintendo game worth $50 forever.
There was no TV deleted scenes that you see on TV. It was a Creed video, and
I did like it.
Can't have a late '90s movie without a shitty Creed.
Nothing ages better like a fine wine than Creed.
God,
I love that song.
And I think there was a featurette, and they were asking for $40. So I said, psh.
I don't know if that was on that feature. I remember at the time somebody had a Halloween H2O behind the scenes, because I remember Jamie Lee would always put Halloween H2O, which is why I always have to say it H2O. In over dramatically Jamie Lee Curtis fashion. But anyway,
that's awesome. Now that's what you want. That's cool.
Yeah. Your favorite scene, Matthew?
And so, I appreciate the scene with Janet Leigh, even though it's like it's too much on the nose, but cinematically, it's a beautiful piece of importance of cinema there to have the two generations. But this was the first Halloween I saw theatrically, and I saw it opening weekend. So kind of similar to you seeing Halloween 4, the opening when the music comes in and they show all the newspaper clippings all around really gave me the feels. So that's probably my favorite scene. It's still nostalgic and it's cool. Kind of explains, shows the history of what happened in previous movies.
They did a great job of getting people who looked like previous victims.
Well.
Yeah.
Well, and I have those clippings right over here. We'll share them sometime during Halloween. Oh yeah.
Oh wow.
Pictures and the Dr. Loomis interview article and stuff like that. So.
Ooh.
Cool.
So that was what favorite. Oh, so worst moment scene, and it bugged me at the time. First time seeing it in the theater was Jamie Lee's first scream in bed when she wakes up. It was a little forced. I'm like, oh shoot, But I got over it, because I was like, But otherwise, I mostly like this. I mean, there wasn't too many.
Yeah, mine was CGI Michael mask.
Oh yes. We just take. Why haven't somebody fixed that? Why haven't we?
What I mean, really, the excuse they give is like they couldn't get the location again or something.
Yeah, Charlie wasn't available. But I'm like, who
needs them?
Yeah. And do we even need to see his face?
Yeah. Just, I mean, this should be called Halloween off-screen kills, but that was completely unnecessary, and it just takes you right out of the movie. And
you can't get even. Yeah. What about you, Matthew?
Least favorite?
Yeah.
I wasn't like blown away by when he first gets in and he sneaks past Lady Love, Cool James. How
melons.
He drives that old car and then like he gets out of it and then he sneaks in and then like LL closes the gate and then he's like playing games where like is he really there? And I don't know. It just seems like it's a few extra minutes longer for not really much of a payoff.
It's supposed to be suspenseful.
Yeah.
The movie was 35 minutes. They had to stretch it out a little bit.
That's probably what it was. They probably promised LL Cool J like a certain amount of screen time. They're like, just have him like go back and forth like 3 times.
Why didn't he do a song for the soundtrack?
Yeah, I don't know why. That would have made more sense.
I mean, if you did it for Deep Blue Sea.
Right.
The mask is deeper than a white. He could have come up with something.
Then the next year they ported Creed over to Scream 3.
Yes.
And
Creed was everywhere.
And Sydney's bedroom had a Creed poster.
Yes.
Like, I don't think that's true.
Good call.
Yeah. I was like, So Halloween H2O, if we're going to quotes that I have many, but the one I use most is, if you want to go camping, I'll take you camping. And the other line, it's a one-word line. 17. Because I don't know. Because I like it kind of brought it together and was like, oh, this is why he waited this long or whatever. And I have one of the cards.
Oh,
nice. Robert is showing us one of the cards from
look at
nice.
That is beautiful.
I like the presentation that you keep
from Robert
clean.
Tate. 6323 First Street in somewhere Illinois.
Oh, so she didn't marry Jimmy?
She didn't. Well, she might have married multiple. I don't know, but this Robert is the father, so yeah.
I like it.
Wait, what state did it come from?
I like it.
Illinois.
Oh, Illinois. Okay.
It's like Panutnik or PT. It's weird. Yeah, I don't know. But
Tuputnik, Illinois.
That would make sense. He would be in
Sounds
Illinois.
like Rhode Island.
Chappaquiddick.
Yeah. There's a zip code 80418. So maybe I'll look real quick as we're going on to
maybe he's watching.
lines.
Mine was could I get another glass of Chardonnay
Good
today?
Today.
I was like, ooh, yikes.
Bringing out the sass.
Jeez.
Strodes don't mess around.
No.
She needs a drink, all right? She needs another glass of Chard.
Great
Oaky.
line rating on that one, Jamie.
Very oaky. Yeah, it was good. I had a tough time. It was difficult for me to select a favorite line from this, but I, like any of the LL Cool J poetry readings, because I imagine the woman on the other line, hates it, obviously, and then that woos her, like, oh, a haiku rather than the sonnet. Yes, I'm sold. Read more. And, like that's his aspirations, to be a poet. So they're all gold. They're all gold.
I do like her. You never do see her, but
yeah.
That's what I always say. Yeah, the only words I remember is round melons.
You get me like going and you gotta go.
It worked.
And then he calls her
again.
He's like, "Hey, baby, I survived. I'm gonna ride him. We're gonna be." It's like, all right.
Did he say her name in there? I mean,
I think so.
Yeah.
I feel like she does get a mention.
Why isn't she at the Halloween conventions?
Yeah.
Sit her right next to Eileen Dietz.
It could be anybody.
People that didn't actually appear.
Why isn't she?
It was what's her name from Ally McBeal? Was it she on?
It was somebody. No, yeah, but I can't remember.
Whoever it is, I think has some mental health issues that might be preventing convention appearance. Lisa Nicole Carson, is that her name?
Maybe, I don't know, but they could have brought them all back for the sequel. But and Cristiano asked, did they show the part where Michael strangled the paramedic on TV? No. So the TV cut, I think they did shoot. So the strangling the paramedic, and we're kind of jumping into Halloween Resurrection here. They shot during Resurrection, but they did shoot Chris Durand walking from where they had the exterior gate set up.
Yeah.
So they did shoot that during H2O while they were there. So they knew well enough that he was going to be walking off as a paramedic at the time. So, and Chris talked about that. I don't know if he talked about it on the YouTube video, but he talked about it when we were visiting the Paramore estate. But if you look at when he's actually strangling, then it's the Halloween Resurrection mask. So
that is true. That is true.
Good
who
call.
knows?
Robert knows.
And with the amount of how many different masks they used in Halloween H2O. And I didn't quite notice at the time. I think things were happening.
Yeah, I kind of didn't notice either. And then, I guess there's technically 4 because the one in the still when they're looking at each other was the one I think Steve Miner wanted to use, but they said no.
That was the kind of spaceman they called it.
Yeah.
What was the mask in The Curse of Michael Myers ridiculed when that movie first came out?
No, actually, that one worked out pretty.
It's not the worst. It's not,
no, because it's like bigger. I didn't know if people had
Halloween 5. You can't be worse than Halloween 5.
It's pretty bad.
But the Halloween 6 mask was used in H2O.
Yes, it is in the first. The
opening scene.
The opening scene.
And then,
but it was not. It wasn't great, but it was certainly not the worst.
No, but
yeah. Halloween 5 is just like shiny and just.
Receding hairline. The neck is out to here.
And sometimes the H2O one, the good one had the weird hair. The hair was a little off.
Yeah, the hair was off.
I was like, why can't? And we've seen movies where even not to skip at Halloween 2007, they can make them. They can make it good. I don't know why it was such an issue. And they used to say, "Oh, copyright." I'm like, no, you can.
Yeah, just lazy.
Anyway. So all right, let's skip ahead to Halloween 8, also known as Halloween Resurrection. So
the best one, arguably. They saved the best for 8th.
Okay.
What's the best scene? Is there?
Well, I got to go to the premiere of this movie.
Oh, that's right.
So
ooh, that's
another
exciting.
one that has a small place in my heart. I was just starting my autograph collection, and I brought my script cover page, hoping that Nancy Stevens would be there since she is married to Rick Rosenthal, the director, and I was able to get her autograph. So that made the night even more special. Nice. I don't, as I said earlier, this is not the worst sequel. It's not the worst sequel up in until this time frame for me. I'll watch this more than some others, but my favorite moment is Laurie's death, which stinks, but she's in it and you get to see her run. Getting to see her run down the hallway makes it just the best scene in this movie.
Can't wait to get to my worst scene.
Oh no! Oh shit!
Yeah.
Laurie Strode hair.
It was a crappy send off. She deserved better, but it's a scene with her in it. You know, once you get to the kids, it's so that's my my best moment.
I like that it holds a special place in your heart that you got to see the premiere. Like that's
always exciting.
Yeah, it's exciting.
The compliments of
is it Halloween movies?
Yes, we were, because I had worked on the Cut Above the Rest documentary that's on the 25th and box set, and they were kind enough to. We were going to interview them, but didn't quite pan out.
Didn't happen.
But they sent 2 tickets, so that was very nice.
Nice. Matthew, your favorite?
Well, I'm gonna have to rely on you two for this because I did see it theatrically. I don't remember much. I didn't like it, unfortunately. But I did enjoy some of the cutaways in the house. I do remember it was very some parts were very suspenseful, and I do like that aspect of like the abandoned and who you kind of don't know what's gonna happen. But yeah, I mean, I'd have to rewatch it to really give it the respect it deserves.
You can't.
Production designers did a really good job recreating the house.
Yeah, at least that. I was like,
that is a big
finally somebody, at least exterior wise. I do question how big that basement was, but
I do remember the basement being there's the size was there were some discrepancies. Yeah,
maybe I don't know. That was kind of like Camp Crystal Lake. Friday the remake tunnels. I'm like, wait a second. Yeah, we never had basements though.
Like Nightmare on Elm Street with there's like 4 basements in the dream. You're like, it just keeps going. It's quite the property. It's quite the property.
I went to see Jason X just so I could see the trailer for Halloween Resurrection.
Oh,
that's when I remember that, and that's why I was excited because the trailer was cut pretty well because
it was. I was like, oh, that looks pretty good.
And I think because it ended with Jamie Lee, because they had all this whatever, and then it looked like
what took you so long?
Yeah, and it's like okay, and they maybe it probably wouldn't have worked out, but they should have somehow reversed, put her at the bookend, because ended the movie somewhat different. I don't know, but so technically the one shot I like is the first shot of Jamie Lee Curtis because I'm like I was excited to see she had long Laurie Strode hair. Because as much as I love H2O, she had Jamie Lee Curtis hair, and I was like, I never quite thought her as Laurie. You know what I mean? And then here I was like, okay, longer hair, that is Laurie Strode. But my favorite scene is actually not in the movie, but it was the original. It was the original opening scene where it was. I think they were playing Johnny Angel, and it was a home movie in 1963 or before that. Judith holding little Laurie, and then Michael was a little boy, and then he turned around and they just kind of went into his eyes, and the Halloween, the Laurie thing, I think, started, and that's how the movie was going to open. I was like, much better.
Wow.
I mean, literally, it's
I gotta find that
30 seconds, I think, but
and I believe the little Michael was her stunt double son.
Yeah, is that Garrett?
Yeah,
his name? Yeah. So, but which shows up at every Halloween. Yeah, I think he sent pictures. Yeah, so. Worst scene.
Freddy kung fu fighting.
And can I just add, because he's doing all this, and Michael's just looking at him.
Yeah.
There's like no response. Like, what is? He's like, I haven't been this bad since Janet. like, what the hell happened while I was gone? Yeah.
Right.
So ridiculous.
I'm sorry. Is it my turn?
It's your turn for worst. Yes.
So I really didn't like what you said, that whole character arc and just those scenes were like, it just felt so out of place. Like I said, I'm not the best expert on the movie. It's been a long time, but I really wasn't a fan of Busta Rhymes busting his moves.
Get his ass.
Yeah. I mean, he's a great actor and everything. He's a talented guy. Just, it wasn't working for me in that. Wasn't blown away.
Robert.
Mine is the slow run, and I'm going to put run in quotes. So he breaks into Laurie Strode's hospital. He goes through the door. Somehow.
We all go through the door.
Yeah,
we all go through the tunnel.
And of course, and never seen this in a movie before. He stabs there's nobody in bed. I've never seen that happen. He's like, he should have learned that back in '78 when he stabbed the hospital bed.
Right?
It's like, I knew she would do this.
I knew she would do this.
But and then so she does this slow run down the hallway, and then looks back, and I was like, and I remember immediately going, "This is not."
That's your least favorite out of.
Yes.
Was Brian's favorite.
Yes.
Sounds like we all need a rewatch of this and settle the score.
Too slow, and I was like, what
that was.
Doing?
I guess they were going into golden time or something, and they just needed to use that.
Probably at this now for the what was the H60? Remember that fake trailer?
Yeah.
Wait, what was it?
So when Halloween 2018 came out, I think they made a Halloween.
Yeah, they did.
H60. They aged up another 20 years. It is so fantastic. So Laurie's much older, and they kind of recreate the Halloween 2018 trailer, except everybody's older, and Michael Myers' mask looks like an old man, and it's receding.
Oh,
and then the Laurie
almost
Strode,
as bad as Halloween 5.
So I could kill him again. Like it was just,
that's right.
And then when he's flipping the knife, he drops it. I don't know. So they just did a fantastic job.
Yes.
Yeah, and Christiana brought up. Yeah, actually, that was it was an amusing scene. You're not Michael, I'm Michael with Busta. Because my real Michael is behind Busta Rhymes' Michael, and they're kind of like, and then he starts yelling at Michael, and so it was amusing. And it should have ended on just a knife through him,
Yeah.
But instead, Michael's like, "All right." So maybe it does work. Leave us alone. Maybe sometimes you can convince him to whatever. And then I used to like the theory that because I think at one point in the script it was not Michael but Crazy, one of the guys at the where Laurie Strode was, that was into the serial killers, and then he gave him that you find out later like this wasn't Michael the whole time. But which is kind of what was the original, and was going to be H2O before Jamie Lee signed on. It was going to be Charlie. Almost kind of squeamish that he was pretending to be Michael, but anyway.
Good call.
Favorite lines?
Mine is from Jim. You've got great legs, Donna. What time do they open?
Oof.
And then she gives the finger, and he says, "Would that be 1 o'clock?"
That's a good. That's good. Yeah.
I mean, what else is there?
That is funny.
There's just. What about you, Matt?
I don't remember, so I'd say 1 o'clock sounds pretty good to me.
Sounds, yeah.
Yeah.
Probably
very memorable.
The most quoted line is just "trick or treat, motherfucker," because
I do remember Busta
that kind of like
after everything.
That's only that kind of it didn't really work. It doesn't work for the Halloween. It works for the movie. It's like, all right,
trick or treat.
You got your, and it's not too different than what we get later from Jamie Lee.
Yeah.
Happy Halloween. But even though she should motherfucker, it would just mean more. So I don't know.
Yeah.
Now I'm picturing like Nurse Janet. That was just her. That's just the way she talked.
That's hilarious.
Now we take a little break from this Choose Your Own Adventure and go on to the Rob Zombie Halloween in 2007.
Whew.
Matthew, you begin. Favorite scene?
So William Forsythe, I love as an actor, and he was so good in this because you hate him, the stepdad, so bad. So when he got offed, the payoff was very good to see on screen. Yeah. William Forsythe owned it. He's actually one of my favorite actors, and I thought he was great in that shitty movie. So all the way for sure.
This was hard. So
it was hard.
Well, because I'm like,
They're all so good.
what worked for me, like when there's two things that worked for me. The one that worked most, I remember at the time, was when Laurie found Annie and Annie was still alive, because I thought it kind of subverted expectations, and I was like, okay, this is a little, we follow all these same beats, but if they keep twisting it, it'll make it kind of more interesting. So I like that. And then when I thought they could have done it better when the mom takes her own life, because it was like a real,
thing. They could have polished that up.
Yeah, but it worked for me, and I think what it should have worked better is, then I always had said before, is like, and that should be the point where Michael then never speaks again, because then there would be a reason for him to stop speaking, that life is, he's ruined everything or something like that. But
good call.
I'll do the ultimate cut for Rob Zombie and fix that. It will be a 30-minute movie. Brian.
I had the Strode's deaths. I liked Dee Wallace in this. She's a little sass to her. The dad was good too, and I like that you get to hear their answering machine message.
I gotta isolate that clip. That's gonna be the beginning of every show.
Isn't it like that? I can't remember.
Yeah. Oh, it's
like that.
We're at 1 minute, 1 hour and 16 minutes.
Don't
make note.
Everybody wants that as their answering machine.
That's amazing.
Now, Mr. Strode had a better
death. Did he? I was wondering if there was something cut.
Yeah, he had a better death, I think, in the original cut, where it was kind of Michael. Is this where? I think he sees Michael walking up, and he's like, "Hey," and he just kills him or something. Like it was abrupt and kind of scary. But and not the TV cut, or maybe I think I had got the rough cut leaked, I think, right before the movie came out, and it has different, and the titles show up in a different place, and so there's some variations. And actually, well, I'll come back to it for favorite line, because the end.
I like it.
Yeah. So what do we? Did we everybody's favorite?
Yes. Everybody's favorite. So am I out of turn?
I think it's your turn.
Okay. So this is least favorite in H2O.
Yes.
I didn't like.
You can choose only.
I could. It's tough to do, but I think I would go to young Michael Myers killing the other kid. Just something about another child killing a child on screen. I don't like that. I get the story and why I did it, but I think he has the shovel and he just
big piece of wood.
Was it a piece of wood?
In Griffith Park? Yeah.
Okay. Well, he should have fought back with piece of wood. Come on, what a pussy.
I just went there this weekend with Paul. And now he was out here.
Did you reenact that?
Yeah, actually, I'll send you.
Okay.
I'm going there this weekend. I'll have to look out for that spot.
Yes.
I felt that scene was just like a little tough. Like they kind of overdid it a little bit, and the kid was like a super nasty bully, but I don't know. No consequences.
Yeah. My worst probably because I'm a Laurie Strode fan at heart, and so when I first saw the pictures of her, I was like, oh, they got a good Laurie Strode, that kind of like high picture, kind of updated version. And then our first time we see her is the breakfast scene, and Mr. Nichols, he's a horny old pervert. Mr. Nichols touched me the wrong way, and
Mr. Nichols.
And you all was like, Laurie, and I was just like,
are you eating?
Yeah,
that's funny. Mr. Nichols.
Strodes are just as bad as the Myers, it was just like, because we had just had the Myers breakfast, and it's like,
right.
And the Strodes are really felt like they're 2 steps away. I was like,
they are really, really close there. I mean,
and I was like, what
quite a departure.
What happened to Haddonfield?
That's such a good point, though.
But anyway,
what the hell happened to Haddonfield?
I was just dismayed because, like, the first time we actually see Laurie and I was like, oh no, this is not. And we didn't need to have a total bookmarm, like Jamie Lee Curtis played, but
Hey, besides take it out of the Rob Zombie universe, take Michael Myers out of the equation. Haddonfield's a pretty ideal place to live. I mean, candy shop, sheriff kind of knows everybody. What happened with Rob Zombie? What's in the water? I mean, talk about decayed morals.
At least he went back to South Pass. So
yeah,
at least what?
He went back to South Pasadena and some original locations.
Oh yeah.
Spot streets and so forth. So at least give him that. For some of the others,
absolutely
managed to do that.
Absolutely.
Matthew, what is your worst? Are we done with? Did you
say
your worst?
Brian's favorite. Brian's worst.
My
scene.
least.
Oh, yours.
Well, it's really the whole 45-minute white trash backstory, but particularly the breakfast. I think William Forsythe makes
in the background.
some like disgusting comment about Judith, and it's just.
Was it like your daughter has quite the dumper on her?
Something of that. Like
we'll get to my favorite quote in a moment.
Okay. But I would just remember sitting there in the theater and be like, what is going on? Yeah. I was
it was bad.
Now that you say, I do remember, because I think we brought some people. I was like, it's a Halloween remake, and I was like, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Is it?
Yeah.
Well, William Forsythe's character says, what's his character's name? I apologize.
It's Ronnie, isn't it?
Ronnie. He's like, he says, your daughter's got like quite the dumper on her or something. And it's like, she's underage. It's like, it implies, a lot of, could imply a lot of things. It was, it's a bad backstory.
All right. Quote time, Matthew.
All right. Another hard film for me to pull quotes from, but I do like so there's a scene, I think it's the beginning, where they're beating up Michael Myers as a kid. And, he's punching him. They're cursing. They're bleeding. They're all over the place. The principal or whoever comes in. And all he can say is, Michael Myers is like, F you. And he's like, what did you just say? Like, disregarding the entire, like, almost being choked to death. Like, are you okay? It was, you say the F word, you're out of here. And, that was it. No consequences. No problem. Like, just go back to class, kids. We're going to talk to this one.
I actually like his delivery, though. And they're like,
what did you say?
Can we say the actual words? Like, F you.
You can say it.
Yeah, I know. Can we say that on YouTube? But yeah, I do remember that. It's like, fuck you.
Yeah, it is good.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, all right,
what
Michael.
Did you just say?
So mine is also a Michael Myers line.
Nice.
It's when him and Dr. Loomis first sit down in front of the recorder, and he just goes, "Hi, I'm Michael Myers," and he's like too close to the mic, as a kid.
Yeah.
So for some reason, it struck me as funny. And then if you do watch the rough cut or the work print, so at the end is a little bit different. So Michael Myers is dead, and they kind of have this overhead shot kind of lifting up, and they start playing that tape. And it's like, "Hi, I'm Michael Myers," and you could hear some of their interview questions as Michael's kind of laying there dead. So, but it just makes me giggle.
Good call.
I don't know why, because up till then Michael has not spoken, and then
right.
We get to hear him speak. You're like, sorry. Oh, Brian.
Let me introduce myself. I'm Joe Grizzly, bitch. And I'm gonna cut that goddamn mask right off your face.
That is a great the guy in the bathroom.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Shot in the South Pasadena Library.
Yes, that's right.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
I know where that is. That's cool.
I'm sure they're so proud.
There's a big plaque when you walk in.
It's under their sign, South Pasadena Library and site of Halloween.
Yeah, you can watch the scene right here
with that quote.
Push the red button, kids.
Right. Oh, it's so good.
All right. Then we're talking now to Rob Zombie's Halloween 2. So this is...
It's a doozy.
It's a movie.
It's a movie.
There's two parts moments I kind of liked. I did like the opening, Lori at the hospital, and they're sewing her up, because I was like, that was like a real... We don't get to see that too often. We had a light version of it in the original Halloween 2, but I was like, oh, this is what really happened. This is post
Well, they didn't ask her if she had a tetanus shot.
Yeah, but they did. And they still took her clothes.
If only.
Yeah. So I kind of like that aspect. And the thing is, it's all then possibly negated because I don't know if the entire thing was a dream or started off real and it became a dream. And then I just love that in movies where the first 30 minutes just don't. Oh, never mind. Yeah. Here's the movie. It's like, all right. Friday the 13th. But a creepy moment I did like. Annie is in the bathroom and she kind of does the slow turn and Michael's right there. So it was a good, creepy, scary moment. That was not a jump scare, and I think that's where I appreciate anytime that we're not doing these loud jump scares. It's still creepy moments. So I'll give him that.
Okay.
Brian.
Mine was the hospital opening. That was a nice homage, and that's the only it's the only part of this movie I watch. When I do watch Rob Zombies, I will start when it is present day in 2007, and then I will watch the opening hospital scene of 2, and that's it. So
just cut it off.
It's a tight 47 minutes. It's a little longer than H2O, but that's all I can stomach. So yeah, I thought that was well done. A little gruesome, but the only thing I can stomach in this one.
There we go.
I like that you're honest about it too. You're like, it's a good 40 minutes, beginning to end kind of thing. Of
and his movies look good. They look
no, they do
great, but
there's good cinematography in there for sure.
Matthew,
I'm really struggling to remember this movie. I've seen it. I saw it theatrically when it came out. I don't remember. I remember Angela's in there. She's a YouTuber, an Epic Rap Battles of History. She was in a few episodes of Entourage. She's great, good actress. She was okay. So yeah, those scenes were good. Scenes 2 through 4 were pretty good.
And I did forget. I do love Margot Kidder, so I did like her as the
Something Wonderful
therapist. Yeah, so it was like and I stayed in that room.
That's right.
That was the bed and breakfast and so forth. So I was right where Margot Kidder and Scout Taylor Compton and one unnamed actress.
What town was that in, Robert?
Covington. So
Covington.
It's where, and it's probably that I think it was used in the Vampire Diaries.
It's Yollywood. It's Yollywood for Atlantans.
Oh, is that where like a big spot is that they?
It's a lot of things. That's where Jason lives. That's the
Dr. Sleep
police station and a lot of things. Dr. Sleep.
Dukes of Hazzard.
Dukes of Hazzard. So it's
nice.
It's the entertainment.
Yeah, I know Jason Lives was filmed there. We talked about that before.
It's nice, but yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, but yeah. So least favorite scene. This me. Oh, so not too different than the bagel Mr. Nichols scene. Is they kind of replay that with the coffee house scene, like, let's get to work, and then dick lickers, and they're like, what are we? These are like the 3 worst girls I've ever seen.
Yeah.
I would not drink one thing out of that coffee shop.
There's no way you're getting a.
They don't. They're
not getting a grande mocha from there and walking away.
Nobody's showered in days. You can just tell by looking at them.
Yeah, especially this is a dirty movie.
Yeah, it's just like, no. Who's their boss? Is it Howard Hesseman or somebody? I can't remember, but it's kind of a strange. It's like you're supposed to like some of the characters. I think that's the hard part. Is it's hard to find likable characters.
Yeah, I didn't like Laurie Strode in the first one, and I really don't like her in this one. So, I mean, my worst. Is it me or is it?
It is you, Nick.
Oh, mine was the Halloween party. Just
too much.
Too grungy and disgusting, and I didn't like any of it.
I do remember the Halloween party, that whole sequence. It wasn't inviting. I wouldn't have liked to be invited to that bash.
No,
I liked her Rocky Horror costume. You're not even having that, so
I think.
Imagine how
Dr. Mixter's party, I'm sure, was way better. So yeah,
Strodes didn't even make it home from there.
No, reshoots to the wind.
Probably another drunk driving crash or destroyed.
Well, there is a Mr. Strode credited in Halloween 2. And the guy, bringing it back to Who's the Boss, because we talked about this earlier, the guy who played Laurie's father is in the very first episode of Who's the Boss.
Okay.
I'm very curious what was filmed, because I don't think there's anything in the script about the parents, and nothing has surfaced as a deleted scene. So I'm like, I wonder if that actor's A, still alive, B, find out what.
Let's bring him on the show.
Let's find out. Let's get him on.
He'll be like, I don't even know what movie I was in.
I was in what?
He had no swear words, so his part was cut.
I'm not your father. That was his line.
I'm not your father.
They should have,
how many times do I have to tell you? He's like putting gas in the lawnmower.
I would say another laundry scene. Doing laundry in November in Haddonfield. I told you.
Have you ever seen White or Whites? That's funny.
Okay, so Matthew, worst moment. Scene.
Moment.
Whew.
I know these get to be.
I really have some homework to say I did, but I really, just from lack of a good memory from this film, the party stuff I do remember. It was pretty grungy and kind of typical. There's a lot of Thayer coming out those times, so I guess from my limited memory, I wasn't huge on that. Just kind of gross. Like Robert said, it probably smelled. a lot of laundry needed to be done the day after, I think.
Yeah, but they didn't. I mean, look, we saw them. There's nobody's laundry machines work in Haddonfield.
No, they're all broken.
They're literally doing
no appliances.
No appliances. Just
they're a quarter mile from the main structure.
Do it in the washboard and put them out on the line. All right. Favorite lines. So I actually do have a.
Ooh.
I literally, if I am actually ever watching this, I usually rewind this line 3 times.
3 times.
It tickled me to death in the theater. So Dr. Loomis and his assistant, and it's so right before they have a strange scene where he's on a talk show with Weird Al Yankovic, if you remember, and something like that. And then Dr. Loomis is embarrassed, and so the scene is that they him and his assistant are leaving the station, and he's like, I've never been so humiliated in all my life. And she's like, oh, you were fantastic to me. He's like, nonsense. And then there's the security guard, and they're both like, good night, thank you. Like they just like literally. And I just remember I was laughing so hard in the theater.
You were like dying.
Yeah, because that's kind of how rude Hollywood people, like they're like, like good night, thank like they just turn and stuff like that. So anyway, favorite line.
Nice.
And I love her. I mean, because she was on Reno 911. I can't remember the name of the actress. And she was in The Descendants with George Clooney. So she's really, I mean, she's probably my favorite character in there. But
nice.
Brian, is it the same line?
No,
it is, isn't it?
No. Mine is from Annie. Early in the morning, Brackett is leaving for work, and he's like, I'm going to have a pastry. And she says, pastry for breakfast? 500 calories of sugar and shit. Doesn't quite get the sass that Nancy Loomis would have given it, but it's up there. And I mean, I really had to dig deep for
to find something
to quote Halloween
a non-swear
2009
line.
Yeah. So that one's mine.
That's a good one. I gotta rewatch this. I really do.
You really don't.
I really don't. Robert, is it a homework list movie or no?
Well, here's the you need to. I don't know.
I need to know it for conversation purposes.
Yeah, there's just so many things wrong with it.
I mean, I definitely have watched it, but it was like,
we didn't even talk about the White Horse, but go ahead.
Okay.
Oh, God.
We're gonna. Okay. I'll have to watch it.
Can't have a zombie without the moon.
Of course.
Yeah. So no line for you.
No. They're all great. folks.
That script was
just too good.
Perfect. It was too perfect. So
I'll rewatch. I'll rewatch the second Rob
one. All right. Now we're on to the new trilogy. So we'll start with Brian.
Halloween 2018. So Robert and I got a sneak peek of this at the
week or two early. I can't remember.
It was a week. Yep. Robert didn't save me a seat, so I had to sit a little closer to the screen than I would have liked.
I'm sorry. I was with who was it? Oh, the Australian.
Yeah, you guys were there.
Yes, but that's okay.
We thought we were going to walk right in, and they're like, "No, the lines are." I was like, "Oh," and then we were worried because it wasn't guaranteed.
Right.
That we didn't show up late. I mean,
I showed up late because I fell asleep. Okay. I was jet lagged because I had flown from Atlanta the night before, and I didn't get there till like 11:15. And I was like, I don't know if I'm going to make it in.
This was during the H4O convention, so it was down the street. But it was raining that day, and
we had thunderstorm, which is so bizarre. We never get thunderstorms here, and it never rains till January.
But of course, it did. Yeah, ambiance.
But at least it held off from the tour. It didn't rain during the tour.
That's right, because it was the Friday. Because we did a full tour that day. Each of us had a bus, and so then we had a little bit of rest time, and then turn around. And so anyway,
so my favorite moment is Michael trick or treats, that whole street
Sorry,
scene.
mister. That's how it starts.
Sorry, mister.
That's like the trick or treating I've always wanted to see in a Halloween movie, which you don't really get. A little bit in H4, a little bit in Halloween 4. You get a little bit of the town square in 2, but it's more adults. So this was I really felt like it was Halloween. We don't see it, but it's brutal kill in the kitchen with the lady, and then whoever Alice. I don't know what was going on there was that the grandmother or what? It was
they start late.
Yeah, what was that actually?
I'm just saying that with the 13-year-old boy and his dad.
Oh yeah.
Sorry. But Dad, I want to do he is.
Yeah, that was a weird.
He is grandfather.
I thought it was a really cool shot when he walks out and he just looks around. And a little Halloween 2 nod with Alice and Sally. So I really enjoyed that scene.
A one-shotter.
Yes.
A one-shotter. That was.
I mean, it was the same camera following Michael across Kirsten Court.
Yeah.
Favorite scene, Halloween 2018. Brian, it was the same one for me, just because of all the nods, just nostalgia. And then the second, I guess, I don't know, doing this a lot, shot was, I think when Jamie first saw Michael Myers, because it's what you're here to see. She shoots him, he gets away, whatever, but it's kind of why we're all here. And all the nods, they always say, or people have said it's a fan movie disguised as a horror movie. And I feel like they do a really good job of bringing back the nostalgia in that long tracking shot. So yeah, I'd say the same thing probably.
She sees him through the door again, just like H2O.
Yeah, there you go. You're right.
Yeah, they should have just recreated exact
same exact blocking.
I did get to go into that backyard of.
Of course, you probably got invited to their Christmas dinner.
I went
to Christmas dinner.
So
you get the most luck with that.
So I first went to was it Charleston? So just it was 6 weeks after they finished shooting, and all I had was some behind the scenes photos, and my sister was going there for a trip, so I said I'll join you, and I tracked down some of these places, and so I was just in this neighborhood on the street just taking pictures of stuff because I didn't know what was going to be in the film. But at the time, neighbors would post shots they decorated our house, but we didn't know what was happening. So a neighbor came out and said, "Oh, Michael walked over here and he did this." I'm like, and then it says something happened in the backyard of this house. And it's like, okay. And it's like, should I bother? She's like, some old lady lives there. Her son moved back. I don't know. Whatever. I'm like, all right. And so, I ring the doorbell and no answer. So I'm walking down the step, and then the guy comes out, and it's like, oh, I'm just taking, my usual spiel. And it's like, it's okay if I take pictures of your backyard. He's like, I don't care. Yeah. So, and you know how
awesome.
You know how I
don't
take pictures? Care. I just put it on the sports shutter. So what I did is I was walking through the, what do they call the car park?
Mm-hmm.
So I was just taking pictures as I was walking, not knowing that was the actually scene, because nothing had been released yet. So I was doing the same walk he was, and I was taking pictures of the shed, because I'm like, and I was like, I don't know what happened. So, and then there was, and I was tempted, but I did not. But under the car park, whatever, there was a pumpkin thing, and that I knew was, because this was March or something, and so I knew it was there for the film, and I was like. But I did not take it. So
you're a good man. You're a good man.
I did, because I was like, oh, this could be, this
you're a good soul. Karma won't come back for you for that.
Yeah. So anyway, but
that would have been. Was it like a live, like a real pumpkin, or was it something else?
No, it was like a stuffed thing. I took pictures.
I was gonna say, yeah, okay, cool.
But yeah, if you look at my pictures, like the rake, everything had not moved since the rake is in the same place. Like nothing had moved. Yeah. So
wow.
Because they had literally just finished shooting. But anyway, so my favorite scene, and I remember in the theater, the moment was because obviously we were with fans, which was great. So we all kind of giggled at the same things. But Ray gets killed, and Karen's coming down the stairs, and Laurie says, Michael's here. And for some reason, it just made it all scary again. Like, and then the scene where he's just, you don't see him, well, you hear him creaking or whatever. And so that suspense worked for me. And I had not felt like that type of suspense in a Halloween in a long time. But so that's kind of what worked for me. But
nice, good call. Nice. Why were we talking about that? I'm just going to share that shot, Robert, of your page, if I may. Mm-hmm. And I'm Matthew, and I have everything queued up to where they should be at just the right time. This is from Set-Jetter.com, ladies and gentlemen. Is this what we're talking about, Robert?
Yes. So this
is the carport thing.
Yeah. So if you click on that, it might bring you to some more shots, because then, keep going down.
Keep going down.
Sometimes, it takes a while to load, because I obviously frame by frame. So yes, you can see the rake and everything is like at the ladder.
Oh my gosh!
Nothing had moved.
Wow, they really didn't touch it. They literally didn't touch it.
Yeah. So I didn't know at the time. I'm just like walking in these people's back. If I would have known, I would have asked to open the
Look at the ladders there. So were those set pieces they just left?
No, I bet you that was just there, and they just didn't bother.
Because they literally didn't touch like anything.
Yeah. So it was. So by chance,
and they didn't know it was like, they weren't leaving it there for nostalgia, like they weren't fans or anything.
Yeah, everything is right there.
Oh my gosh.
So sometimes that happens, but I just remember in the theater, I was like, oh, I guess that wasn't a prop. That was just.
Where was the pumpkin thing, or was that somewhere else?
I don't know. Keep going down, because I might have, or go down, because I might have taken a separate picture. But
I'm just curious. I was just curious.
I don't know if I didn't probably include in the sketch. I do have a picture of whatever I found.
That's amazing, though. Have you ever seen anything like that?
The flag is still there if you go down a little bit.
The flag?
Yeah. He walks out, and it's the same American flag.
That's amazing. So they really just showed up and left, and they didn't touch anything.
Sometimes they do, but that, it was
cool.
A good trip. That was, because remember, like, well, Brian knows, and I have like weird good luck sometimes, because the Elrod scene all took place in the backyard, and so I'm like, ding, like, I think I went. That was my second trip, because I knew it took place in the backyard, and I said, can I take pictures of you? And it's like. And there's kids running around. She's like, yeah. Like,
yeah.
And I'm like, in the back. Like, all right. It was just weird, like.
Yeah.
But,
no, that's cool.
Yeah. That was, because I had multiple times, because then I went to.
That's amazing.
Julian's house, the little boy that's babysitting, and they let me. And was like, and here's the closet, and here's, like.
Oh wow.
It's like, all right. And then I think my last stop then was Karen Strode's house, and then they're like, yeah, come on in, or whatever. And then
come on in.
It was like, we still have the skillet and whatever that Karen was using. And I was like, oh, I should sell that. And they're like, you can have it. And I'm like, all right, like
you can have it.
It's like, can I bring a skillet on a plane? Or I think I better check luggage. But yeah, but anyway,
Yeah, how does that work?
I just threw in the luggage, stuff like that. But it was good, and it was interesting because then they would show me their pictures of, and so one of their bedrooms was dressed as Allison's bedroom for a scene, and so forth. And then they showed me how they built a fake cabinet so they could have the reverse shot of Ray setting the traps and stuff like that.
Okay.
But anyway, so sorry, that was a tangent. So what do you want? So are we on to worst scene? Yeah.
Worst scene?
Brian.
This is Brian, right?
God, Dr. Sartan's twist.
Putting
on the mask.
Putting on the mask.
I'm just going to piggyback on that. That's mine too. 100%.
I imagine it's everybody's.
It's just so unnecessary and so bad. Like, there's no need for that to move anything forward.
I had been warned, like, because Sean had seen a week or so before, and he didn't tell me exactly. He's like, there'll be one scene that you'll just stop and say, what, and it's like, okay, and I kind of forgot about it, and then as soon as that popped up, I'm like, oh, this is
there it is.
I was like, because then I was like, I didn't, I forgot it because everything is clicking along pretty good. That there's some missteps, but for the most part, they were doing a good job of not making it overly fan service, but it was like, what is happening? So at least they cut out the Dr. Sartain picking his nose scene. That's in one of the deleted scenes. It's
good pacing,
right,
good move.
Okay, I'll have to.
Good move.
There's some questionable stuff. So Matthew, that's your worst.
Sartain, if 100%.
I have that with the runner-up of like, oh, I got peanut butter on my peanut. It's like, because it was like, wait, it was breakfast, and I was like, oh my God, we're going to Zombie Land. Mr. Nichols put peanut butter.
We're in Rob Zombie Land.
It's like, oh no, are we doing that?
I know there was a fine line, but
maybe because Karen was doing this, it was kind of the same, like, Mrs. Strode was making. It's like, wait a second. Nichols Hardware is a ripoff, man.
There should have been better morals instilled, of course, but they didn't cross the line completely, which I think was good.
Completely. So, but all right. Favorite lines.
We're investigative journalists.
Brian and I would shout that all the time. So, if Matthew remembers, so when they pull up at Laurie Strode's, they're like, she asks, how does that? Has she asked who it is, or like? Yeah,
she asked. This is my favorite line. That's how I know. They ask who it is, and you're not seeing anyone. And we have $3,000, and you don't hear anything, and the gate just slides open, and you're like, yeah, exactly. This is America. She's on hard times.
I need to pull that out. I think I had them sign that.
We're all both on the same track here with 2018.
Because I had
pound for pound.
Both of them were at a convention at the same time, and so I got a picture with both of them at the same time.
Oh, really?
I think I made one of them sign. We're investigative journalists.
You know what's so great
she was
about?
Sweet though. I liked her.
Yeah, and like the fact that 2018 was the peak of like the serial podcasts and all the true crime stuff was like blowing up. There would be no other, like, if it was a reporter or found number, it wouldn't have worked, but they nailed it.
Tracy Venable from Psycho 3.
Psycho 3. It's a good flick.
But yeah, so that's a good Matthew, was that your line?
That's mine too, yeah.
So it is one of my favorites. So the one I remember just cackling in the theater. Brian might have heard me, even though we're like 2 rows away. So when
2 or 6,
2 or 6, I can't remember. But when Laurie's trying to give her granddaughter the money or whatever, and she goes, I could use it for her. She goes, fuck college. And I was just like,
college is good.
Yeah, I was like, oh my god,
that is good.
I like that, Laurie.
Yeah, that's a good one.
But there is probably because it was in, I think it was in the trade, like, you have no security system, Karen. I love that whole, like, bus crashed, like, I like their interactions, but,
yeah.
But anyway, it was good. So, but overall I did appreciate Halloween 2018. It had the right flavor, and it was kind of nice to kind of revisit, and it became like it was like a serious sequel. I mean, and I remember
you're right. It holds up for sure.
And for when Brian and I read that, like when the lights went down in the credits, and it was like,
the
this
credits.
I've not been had not been that excited for 20 years. To see this kind of reincarnation or whatever requel, whatever we were doing it. But anyway, Halloween Kills. We start with Matthew. Favorite scene.
Yeah, favorite scene is no surprise. I've mentioned this multiple times in the show, but the opening sequence in 1978 gets it feels like it smells like Halloween. You know, I'm a big police guy in these movies. They do a great job with Warren County Sheriff's Department. It feels like I wish there was so much more, or there was like a mini series on Halloween 1978 shot the way they did it there. I thought they nailed it, and it's fun, you know. Even the CGI Loomis, like they can pull it off. It's good. I like it. I
think
really
it was
do.
all makeup. I don't think there was any CGI.
No, there you go. Even better.
Yeah.
So I thought it was the opening's definitely my favorite scene of the whole movie.
I would agree. I liked the opening that they kind of went back 20 minutes before. It wasn't 30 seconds later that they kind of went back in time to end Cameron. And then but then I was not. This is a negative, but I was also going to retcon because they're like, he finds Deputy Hawkins, and I was just like,
just a little cut.
Yeah, I was just like, well, we ran him over and everything, like whatever, and he's still like, I gotta get him, and it's gonna be me who kills him. Like, you shouldn't be able to even talk. I saw you, But then, so I went to probably the U.S. premiere of this, and so we're excited.
Nice.
And as soon as that, probably the same thing with your audience. As soon as that happens, and they cut the smash cut to Halloween 1978, and people were. It was exciting, because
exciting.
The mask and that when you first see him like walking down the alley is so perfect. Nothing has gotten as perfect to the original as that.
Agreed.
That's what sold me on that whole sequence. Like if that was in there, it would just be like something cool to talk about. But that mask, seeing that and the lighting was like perfect. It was just such a good job.
And then the rest of the movie.
I know. That's the best part.
Brian, your favorite?
Same. The flashback. Just exactly what you said. The mask was great. The alley, everything. Although one thing
the radio tower.
One thing I never got was when the other cops meet up with him and he's like giving orders. And the one cop says, yeah, kill the bad guy. And then the other guy's like, Jesus, Frank. I never understood like what that exchange was.
I might have to obviously I don't.
What was it, Brian? Wait, what was the last thing he said?
The guy, I think it's the one that like later says they're going to cover it up and say that Michael killed the other cop that he shot. And he says, you two go this way, you go this way. And then he says, yeah, kill the bad guy. And somebody else says, Jesus, Frank. And it made no sense to me at all. Not that this movie has sense in it, but next time you watch it, just let me know what I'm missing. Because every time I'm like, okay, I'm going to try and get it this time. And I still don't get the whole exchange.
I kind of remember what you're saying. Yeah, I'll have to watch out for that.
What you got me thinking is like, which of these cops killed Ben Tramer in the alternate universe? Like, who was the cast that was just like tearing around? It's probably the one tearing around in his car and and hit the O'Malley's almost. You kids get inside, and then he bowls over a 17-year-old.
He came out of nowhere
wearing a stupid mask.
He came out of nowhere.
One of those guys had, because that was the entire force pretty much right there. So
yeah.
So
worst moment.
Yes. Who's first? Matthew's.
I'm sorry.
Worst moments. Yeah.
Apologize for holding up the show.
Now I can remember who's next. Yeah.
Worst moment dies tonight is the worst moment. Evil dies tonight. The line's fine, but the overuse of it was comical at first, and then it was just kind of played out.
So, any particular scene where that is
to the mob scene,
is it the bar scene? Is it
the hospital scene? It was kind of getting there. It was building up. Bar scene was a little comical, but I feel like the hospital scene was kind of the coup de grace.
With the day player.
I'm sorry, the mob scene was like the coup de grace. It was just like too much. The scene building up to that I thought was okay. I just thought like the line was like played out at that point in time.
Yeah, the mob mentality would have worked better if all the sequels were part of the reality. Yeah. Because then it was like, he's killed hundreds of us, you know. Yeah. But now he's like, he killed three
people.
Right. Yeah, you're absolutely right.
And now he might have killed other, we did some reporters, some investigative journalists from out of town.
He's not Freddy Krueger. Like it's okay to.
But somehow everybody's up and
have the cops do it. Yeah. It is hilarious.
And out of their house and whatever. I'm like, get people out of their house
with the iron.
Yeah, so anyway,
it's true. So that's probably my least favorite.
Okay.
Is that scene, the mob scene?
Yeah. So once I got kind of over the retconning of Hawkins and like, wait, this is, and I didn't realize until, is it Scream 7 where everybody survives everything? Like,
oh god, yeah.
So now everything's like,
more Band-Aid things, yeah.
But you think back, you go back to like the Friday Part 2. People got like they get stabbed once and they literally fall over dead.
Yeah. Oh, immediately.
And now they get stabbed 18 times.
They're hanging in there.
I'm getting out of the hospital early. It's like, all right. But anyway, so once I got over that, but literally the firefighters massacre was like suddenly he just became Jason, and I was just like, this is not. Michael was pretty human. Up until that point, no smoke inhalation occurred during that entire time. It was fine, and he's hiding in the
patiently hiding.
The gun,
no problem.
No smoke got in there. He just waited patiently until the coast was. He heard the firefighters. But then, it was just like so over the top. I was like, this is not the Halloween. Yeah, I don't know. But it's
not the Halloween that you.
No,
it shouldn't have left.
Left. It already moved up like to kind of ludicrousness. So.
Oh yeah, no, I 100% agree with you. No doubt.
Brian.
Mine is also Evil Dies Tonight, particularly in the hospital with the hyper caffeinated under 5 actress with the dark hair. That one irked me the most, who kind of starts the chant.
It's always them.
Ridiculous.
Touche.
Yeah.
Oh, Matthew.
My favorite quote is the title of tonight's show. It's Sleep Bracket saying everyone's entitled to one good scare. Which we just lost him recently.
Yes.
So,
the actor, I mean.
Yeah. It was nice to see him. It's like, and I always felt bad. I was like, oh, I know we all need sometimes retirement jobs, but it's so bad, that.
Yeah.
And he would still be upset that.
Yeah,
my daughter was desecrated. It's like, she kind of. I don't know.
Yeah, no, he was hanging in there.
So mine was probably from the teaser trailer. It's like, let it burn.
Let it burn.
I don't know. I just that's nothing else was kind of too memorable for me. I don't know. And there's ones that are probably memorable, but with Big John and Little John and stuff like that. But it's like,
yeah, that's so true.
I'm sure Brian's is gotcha, but go ahead.
No, it's speaking of the Johns, it's Big John. He stabbed his sister in the tits.
Big Jad.
Oh,
that's great. It reminds me of that Brady's Bunch episode where they talk about stabbing in the tits. Wait, no.
I thought,
I'm sorry, I got to interject this before I forget. I did watch the 1990 Brady Bunch musical number with
theme song
Lawrence singing it. It's quite the performance. Carry on.
The Halloween Kills of the Brady era.
That's what we need.
So, not to go off on a tangent, because when we had to talk earlier about doing a mashup of what if Michael Myers was stalking the brady. I was like, because I kind of picture, like, but then you'd mentioned kind of wearing the potato sack, which makes it a Friday 13th instead. But I was like, they went to the Grand Canyon, they went to Hawaii, they went to Crystal Lake, and I think they kind of did in the Brady's Go Camping.
And they filmed that where Friday the 13th final chapter is filmed. Greg's a doctor. There's a whole hospital thing. There's a big connection to this. After Jaws,
if I have it in me, I might do a mashup because they're driving a station wagon like the final chapter kids.
That's right. Exactly.
And so I'm just saying one day there might be a video where they stopped by Pamela Voorhees' grave and leave a hitchhiker off to Carol, where are we going to put her?
That's so mean.
Back with Alice.
Yeah, that's why Alice is like, pick her up.
I'll sit next to her.
Yeah, Alice would like her. Anyway.
This is where we're going to put her. That was so mean and funny, though. I mean, it's a valid point. It's quite the packed car.
This was not a bucket seat time. This was front, back, everything was.
She gives him the finger, and the shirt had the font on it.
It was kind of sad.
The sign.
The FU sign. Because obviously, it's happened enough that she had to paint it. So.
Hey, that reminds me. That's another bad thing on amongst many of Jason versus Freddy or Freddy versus Jason. When Freddy has the Freddy's back burned into the guy's back, it's like the font from Freddy's dead, and you're like, oh, wow, he has quite the copywritten style. Like it's like just clearly the CGI, but it was like the same font. I'm like, oh gosh. Anyway, but yeah, the Brady Bunch. There needs to be some mashups with that.
Yeah, so I don't know. Just stay tuned if I have it in me, because I thought it looks the same.
Excited.
So I want to do. Are they in a campfire at that scene? Because I would like I don't want to scare anyone.
They don't at night. They do the whole bear thing, but I don't think there's an actual fire. But
I was just curious.
There's something you can do.
There's material to work with there, though.
Well, that's what I'm figuring. There's got to be something.
Like Jeff and Sandra talking about going to visit the camp when they're cooking or coming back with the fish. Yeah. You can. There's something to go on.
If I had better effects, I'd have him walking by. Crazy Ralph riding by his bike by the Brady's. Stuff like that.
Ted telling the dirty jokes in the background. Beethoven's last movement.
Says you're a dead. What?
Oh, it's so good.
All right, now we're into Halloween Ends. So, so this was. I kind of have two favorite moments. So Brian knows one of them because I went into this movie with such folded arms of I'm gonna hate every minute of this movie, and it was for a while because I'm like I'm not quite sure I got the opening, and with the radio. It started with the radio. It didn't open like a normal Halloween, and they were using Halloween 3 blue credits, and I'm like, but so by the time I kind of got into it, and when Michael kills the redheaded girl, whatever, and then I think the next scene is him and on the motorcycle with the Boy Harsher "Burn It Down" song. So it's a very independent film. It's like not Halloween moment at all.
Like pleasantly surprised. It was like a nice. Yeah. It was good to. It was reassuring.
Yeah,
that it went out in a good note.
Not for everybody, but
not
anyway,
for everybody.
So that was a scene. Meaningful, I guess. I don't know, quite sure. But what about you, Brian? Is it your scene?
It is my scene. Not because
I don't know. I like seeing that hand.
I like seeing that hand.
I was just meant a lot to me. Yeah. Is that the one?
It's the one. So yeah, it's really the only good scene in the movie for me, anyway. But even though I just happen to be in it, but yeah, I was not a fan of this movie at all. I went in arms folded and remained arms folded.
Remained arms folded.
I remember I just moved back here and I was like, oh, this is perfect. I'm back in LA and Halloween movie's coming out and I'm in it and it's going to be great. And oh God.
It'll let you down.
You'll like it one day. You'll be a fan.
Someday it'll win you over.
I don't know. Yeah, I thought that was a cool scene. I didn't care for anything with Corey. Otherwise, I would choose the opening, I guess.
I love Corey.
I know. I got him 1,400 steps that day.
If you
walking around.
saw me at the convention, I was all over Corey. But anyway.
So yeah, the ending.
My Halloween ends. There's a few. I did enjoy the movie. I thought there was a few scenes that I stood out, but I think when Corey's dragged in and he's fighting with Michael and Michael lets him go, it showed a unprecedented sign of humanity and like it just took me for a complete 180. So the fact that he showed him mercy and stopped choking him was interesting. So I enjoyed that. It was against the grain.
Rayan asked, "How'd you get into the house, Robert?" They yelled at me.
They yelled at me. Share your secret.
He
Robert broke in. It was crazy.
ID. What's that?
He showed your Nebraska ID.
I don't know. Here's the thing. I flew in on a Friday night. And I think I did a couple locations before it got dark. And then I went to the hotel. And then I was like, I'm going to start early the next morning. So I started doing some locations. It was a Saturday night flew in. So it was Sunday morning. I was up and early because I'm trying to cram as many locations as I'm in. And then the Laurie Strode's house was probably the third or fourth kind of on the way. And, if I think I might have that possibility, otherwise I just take a stereo shots. But, I ring the doorbell. And I remember as soon as I did, I pulled out my phone and I was like, it was like 8:45 a.m. on a Sunday. And I was like, mistake. And I could see movement inside, what I mean? I was through the doors. And they came to the door in their pajama. And like they were having breakfast.
Oh God.
And and I was just like,
did they do the bagel thing?
No, they missed it. I introduced myself.
Peanut butter.
Yeah, and so and I just introduced. I was like, "Hey, I'm a big Halloween fan. I'm doing locations and stuff like that." So,
were you wearing that outfit now? Because I would have been like, yes.
Yeah. Then they'd be like, "Get out of
no
here.
way!
Don't cosplay at and they said, I think he said we'd never done it. Let us think about it. I'm like, well, here's my number, and I said, just let me know, otherwise, I recognize. I mean, it's early. I was just they're like, go away, But so I gave him my card and then went to do other locations, and then it wasn't too soon after I went to Dr. Mathis's house, and I did the same thing, and they're like, say not now, but come back tomorrow, because we're gonna clean up for you. I'm like, all right, because they shot a lot of good scenes in Dr. Mathis's side. So I was like, all right. I was like, well, this is maybe working out. And then by the time I got to the hotel that night, then they texted say 9:00 tomorrow work. I was like, yes, And
yes.
So so I went in, and so this was still COVID. I mean, his wife, I think, was going through some treatment, so I wore my mask. She wasn't around, but just for kind of safety issues and so forth. So, but
you have such great luck with that too.
So we kind of went to the different spots, and he shared some stories of when they came back for the reshoots. That literally he was making coffee for who plays Hawkins. I forgot the actor's name.
Will Patton.
Yeah. And so that he made him a coffee, and Jamie saw that and she was, "Can I have one?" So he's making coffee for all them because they were all inside. So and they talked about the wallpaper that was all production wallpaper and so forth, and then how they replicated the stairway and part of the entrance, but over where you see the kitchen, it does not look like, and the living room is completely different. In real life, they kind of did that differently, but they went to go visit the set of where they built the whatever, and he was amazed because they're just the stair. What do you call that? First thing, they replicated that so perfectly that he couldn't tell the difference between his and so
amazing.
And they shot kind of in that hallway a few different things, and then upstairs, Allison. I just.
Allison, yeah,
granddaughter's room, and then Laurie's room, and they kind of let me take pictures, same wallpaper, and they kind of explained how, where the pumpkin gets shot on the wall. So that's actually a doorway to the closet, but they just made a fake wall, kind of that, whatever. So, but yeah, so he was super nice and
that's awesome.
Let me take whatever pictures I want, and I did kind of have a moment where I like, because if you see, but it's like, because I didn't know how, you never press your luck, and so then after I got to know him a little bit better, as we're going through it, because then it's like, it's okay. So I'm like laying on the floor where Corey was. Next to the stairs, and he's taking pictures and stuff like that. So, but as Rain said, nobody. They've not been nice to other people. Yeah,
they've been rude.
I think Rain said that they weren't. He was even just on the sidewalk, and I think they were yelling at him
to not be on the sidewalk.
Get away or whatever. So,
gosh, some people.
Sure, but I'm glad. So it kind of worked out. And same with Dr. Mathis's house. They were super nice. And Barbara's like, "Can you take a picture of me with the shower on?" When I'm taking the picture where she does the shower. Yeah. But yeah, they were super nice. And that, so the lady, the wife of the house, she was the reporter in Forrest Gump. That she goes, you may have seen me in Forrest Gump, when she's talking about Forrest running across or something, the country and so forth. But yeah, so they were super nice. But
she the one that's like, are you doing this for women's rights or the environment? Like that lady, the reporter?
Might be. I'm not quite sure. I've only seen Forrest Gump once, so
I was just running.
But yeah, so they talk about the South being nice, so they were nice to me. Rain, I'm sorry, I don't know. I don't know what you did to these people. Or the thing is, I'm not quite sure. I'm not really what I would consider a charmer, but
you have some charm.
Yeah, but I'm
give yourself some credit.
Overdoing it. That some people just come on in to. But it was let me clean the house first, and then and come back. So, but yeah, everybody, and obviously, where I went to the diner was really nice, and they brought out props that they still had from the film and stuff like that. So, and that cool. Section was closed, but I was like, "Can I eat here? Can I eat where they sat?
Can I eat here, please?"
Yeah, they were. Yeah. But super nice. So, and now the house, they changed. It's no longer red. I think it's like a pale blue or something like that now. So they've been making some changes. So
interesting.
Anyway, sorry that went to that tangent. So, are we did everybody do their favorites?
Yeah. Brian, what was your favorite again?
Mine was the mosh pit ending.
Yes. His scene.
Yes. So it's.
Now,
Robert, you're supposed to tell your least favorite.
Now my least favorite. So probably Michael being regenerated. So when he kills again, and then he's just kind of literally does the I'm coming back to life, because a couple things. Like one, has he not changed or taken off his mask? And is it 4 years later?
Right. What's the timeline of the mask?
It's 4 years later. But he's also they imply that he's been down in the sewer, not changing, leaving the mask on for God knows what reason, and then he's like barely, he's me in the morning. He's like I can barely move, but once he stabs,
it's like the hermit in Halloween 5. Like, what is he doing in there?
Yeah, I don't know. But then he literally just kind of shakes himself back to life. I'm like, I'm Michael again, like he's being rejuvenated by killing. I'm like, we're now into supernatural,
right?
Again,
right? We're veering into that again.
Yeah, so that's probably like, if this is the way we have to do it, I don't know. But anyway, Matthew, what is your least?
Oh, I think it's Brian's.
It's Brian. I'm sorry, Brian.
So mine, I think is Matthew's favorite. In the tunnel when Corey gets let go. I don't even know.
Same scene?
He doesn't kill him, and I'm just like...
Well, he's just getting his groove back on.
He still is getting his groove back.
I didn't care for it. Sorry.
You anti-Corey. You're an anti-Corey. I can tell.
Sorry.
You don't like Corey?
There's anti-Corys out there. I know, but...
Yeah, I blame Corey. I was not on that train.
I think they left some because they also imply that there's been missing people.
Yeah. There's
and
some
they don't
implications
really address
there.
that, and there's
there's a billboard.
And they should have almost had like a part 2 where there's some skeletons scattered behind, like
made in fucking Taiwan.
But
like in Halloween Resurrection.
Wait, what made from what part 2, Robert? I'm sorry.
Well, like in Friday 13 part 2, where Jason has his shrine or whatever, and then Alice's body's there. And whatever. It's right. Like, well, maybe we have a couple because like it's implied a little bit, but nothing. It's never kind of brought up again. So, and David Gordon Green never has an idea and just drops it. Radio tower. That metal that somehow catches on.
I know,
fire.
and you called that before.
Yeah, you're like, oh, the finale is going to be on there. Like,
yeah,
I still maintain Robert's proposed finale would have been better than anything.
I agree.
I mean, you would see a view of the city.
No, then I wouldn't be in it.
It would be
but
that's true. Well, they would have found something for you.
But I think they kind of shoehorned in the radio sequence.
Yeah,
because of that, it was like, right. I promised this, so. Maybe we'll start off with the radio, so that people because you're like, what is this? Who are these people? Do they really have to die? Anyway.
Nerd locations. We already talked about 1 through 4 earlier, but
rewatch the video.
But this will, the whole thing will be available.
It's only
on audio
2 hours
tomorrow, and the video is available in playback. So please check that out because we're curious to see what you would think.
We're already 3 hours longer than H2O.
This is just rehearsal. We're going to redo it in a minute for TikTok. But I'm sorry to interrupt. Was it my turn for worst moment? I didn't like, and I don't blame Corey because accidents happen, but it was Jeremy's death. Again, just the echoing the kids dying. I'm not a big fan of that. It was just kind of a difficult scene. So I wasn't, the opening sequence, I wasn't thrilled with. It's no clown house.
It was different.
It was different. I give him that. No, for sure. It did its job. It was shocking.
What did you do? What have you done? Or I can't remember.
Yeah. Just like, all right, this is how it's gonna.
This is how it's gonna be.
It's gonna go. All right. What are we on to? Quotes.
Yes.
Favorite quotes. Final segment of the night too. So
yeah, I have a couple, but the one that just made me giggles at the gas station. Laurie Strode, like, "Hey assholes, knock it off." I don't know. I just like adults yelling at kids and ban kids at that.
I like adults yelling at kids, like, "You squirrely kids."
Yeah. Nice. So yeah, I kind of like that. So
it is good.
Matthew.
So mine, it was kind of a toss up, but the one I had down was, I'm paraphrasing, but I used to think you were the boogeyman, and he's like, no, you're just a man who's about to stop breathing, and so on and so forth. But I wanted to say about your Michael regenerative thing, that was my least favorite. I don't know.
Did we get to your least? Did we skip that?
No, we did. It was Corey. It was the beginning, but I would say that one is like right there, up there. I wasn't a big fan of that one either.
Show me how.
But the boogeyman, no, you're about to be a man who's about to stop breathing. I was down with that, so that was probably my favorite. Brian, your favorite quote?
Mine is from Corey's mom. Boys who text at the table don't get custard for dessert.
Boys who keep secrets.
Oh, sorry. I'm sorry.
Boys who keep secrets don't get custard for dessert.
All of a sudden, she's from Boston.
Yes.
Boston about to pack a cat and the cat back.
That was a choice or a direction, but
everybody had a different.
I'm like
different backgrounds.
Yeah. Nobody was from Illinois, apparently.
Yeah. No.
You were from Boston. You were from the South.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't even think about adding Corey's mom into our Boston universe.
There was quite the transplant population in Haddonfield.
And Mystic River. Is that my Corey in there?
Is that my Corey?
She had another line too to Lori. It's like, people got something about your boogeyman, and we're gonna got another one or something. I kind of like that one too, but the custard one sticks in my craw.
Boys who keep secrets don't get custard.
Custard.
Yeah, she's like, who are you texting that? She was just like, I was like,
nagging a bit. Yeah.
Well, you see what Corey did. I do have technically a secondary quote. I don't have, but because
let's have it.
Because it was Laurie Strode's final words.
What do we got?
What was it?
I like how you have to flip your hair back, like a real
You know
hair.
what I do? Because I do.
You miss it. You got to grow it out.
I do the Laurie Strode twirl that she does in the movies. What was it you were saying about those cherry blossoms? So.
Oh wow!
Oh,
so I did have her sign that. So.
Oh, that is so cool.
Where did she sign that again?
So remember, she was selling these, so you can have them.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah,
did she do another appearance? Okay.
No, these are the ones you could order, and she could sign up to certain things like that. So,
that was at the premiere that you saw, Robert?
No, this was she was selling.
Probably not. It would have been a convention, right?
The My Hand in Yours. So she had different items that you could pay to have her sign and stuff like that. So.
Okay.
And all would go help to Children's Hospital.
What is that?
LA Children's Hospital. Let's get it right.
She always says it in a kind of a strange way. Like she always seems to kind of I always feel like leave off the S.
Children's Hospital.
Children's Hospital.
Oh, does she?
Well, not all the time, but that's the way.
That's
the way I interpret it. So, but yeah. So I had her sign that, and then I had her sign.
Cool.
Yeah, multiple ones. So I don't know.
Those are awesome. Yeah. And I love the Michael Myers. Is that from the same collection? Not collection, but same company as your Jason?
So this is like the super heavy ones.
Yeah, they're so nice.
I can't even lift it up too easily. So this is, they do a good job. They actually replicated his boots from the original boots that he had. So, and it came with a pumpkin that...
pumpkin?
Those.
Oh my gosh.
That's awesome.
That's really cool. That's a very nice touch. You should keep that out all the time. That thing's great looking.
I do leave it. I don't leave it on all the time because we have to save it for special occasions. And then they have a very nice Judith Myers tombstone.
Oh,
so
very nice.
Was actually I bought it from Sean, and it was just white or kind of beige looking, and so I painted it to make it look like the.
Is that pewter or what is the?
That's like that hard plastic. So
okay.
Years ago, when I think it was like age 3-0, Sean had stuff you could just buy from his table that he was getting rid of. So.
Wow. That's really exciting.
Or you just go to his house and buy stuff.
Yeah,
I did buy because he had a bunch of books in Scream Queens. She played Dr. Munch. Wrote a book. So Sean had some extra books that she wrote that was Scream was in the show. So I had to have one of those books, of course. So.
You got to have it.
Yes.
I do like your horror book collections that you have. You have like a lot of good ones, and you take good care of them.
Yes.
Well, that'll be our Halloween quiz tonight. After this whole segment, is there a particular film you think you need to you're itching to rewatch?
I need
or
to
never watch again.
I'm probably primed to rewatch the latest trilogy, or as much as I can.
Yeah,
I haven't revisited that, but it's hard because when I look, I was like, I don't need to see this again. I certainly don't need to trudge through Halloween 5 or or some I just know too, like Halloween H2O. I'm like, I know it too well. I need to keep a lot of space between the time I see it again. I don't know. What about you, Brian?
Yeah, it's funny. Out of the David Gordon Green trilogy, I watch Halloween Kills the most, which I know is odd.
I gotta go wash my hair.
I feel like I have to rewatch.
Go wash my hair.
2018 and Halloween Ends again.
You will watch it until you like it, Mister.
I mean, 2018 I like it. I don't know. Sometimes I find it a little slow and drab, and other times I'm like, oh, this was good. I kind of go back and forth, so it's not a go-to. But Kills, I don't know. It's the flashback scene. It
is great. The flashback scene.
Just chaos on Halloween night. The legacy characters, even though they got crappy send-offs.
This is for Dr. Loomis.
Oh God.
They did it dirty.
Real dirty. She should have been smoking a cigarette.
This is for Dr. Loomis.
So yeah, I guess those two I would need to give a rewatch. Just particularly Halloween Ends, because I haven't watched that.
I was gonna say, boys who skip Halloween Ends don't get custard for dessert.
They don't get custard.
What about you, Matthew?
So Resurrection and Rob Zombie's Halloween 2 are the ones I've only seen once, so I'll have to rewatch those just so I can keep up with the conversation. But I did rewatch the trilogy and H2O and Halloween 2 in the last month or so. So, I'll watch the original and I'll try to watch those two. Not that I want to watch those two, but I should.
I should get the work print to you guys if you have not seen that.
Ooh.
Of Rob Zombie's Halloween. It's a little different, so things are done a little bit differently. So
you never steer us wrong.
Yeah. So
there more breakfast shenanigans.
I don't remember. I have not watched it in a while. I just remember the opening credit, because when Michael Myers is running down the hall after the principal,
Yeah.
They freeze frame it and it says Halloween and the Halloween theme's going. It's like a weird.
Oh God!
It's like the Langoliers kind of thing.
It was kind of like
a freeze.
It was it was kind of just a strange wait, what is this?
You remember the Langoliers ending though, right? Where they're all like, "Yeah," and it freezes.
Oh, that's
you almost want to see "Don't do drugs, kids." Sponsored by
Dare.
Tonight.
We keep talking about it. That we're gonna end the show and do a Naked Gun. We have to do that tonight and see how long we can get away with it.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I'll try to see if I can find out. I think I have it somewhere. So if you can stomach it.
If you wait, what is that from?
I don't know. Maybe I was doing a Tim Stroke stomach pounder.
I feel like you're so good though. You don't even know. They just come off the tongue.
Sometimes I watch a movie and I'm like, oh, that's where I say.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I don't realize I say certain things. I'm like, oh, that came from Annie, or something.
You absorb it.
Yeah, it's like I see all these lines and people are like, he just says out of the whack things. Like that, so.
At least they're applicable though, and you're not like me where they're like, Matt, this file's due. I'll be like, welcome to The Rock.
Yeah.
And they're like, you just like that movie. I'm like, yeah, I'm just quoting.
Which is fine. People are, I'm sure, we'll all be out to eat maybe in a week, and I'm sure we'll be talking about.
We'll have The Rock autograph of Tony Todd to talk about while we're eating.
Who's not going to get custard for dessert?